Greetings, humans. This month, we'll learn what it means to be regular guys and how to make it our way of life. And our new music video encourages young people to stay jade. This is JW Cast Broading. We began our discussion.
Hey everybody, I am trying to figure out, I had a cool intro, had a perfect intro that I edited, perfect phone call, and now it was weird. It was like playing double time. Let's do a little sound check. We've had some mic issues on the stream recently, and I want to make sure we do a little test. We do a little test of the emergency broadcast system. See how we're doing. Oh, you know what? I think I know why. I think it's because I had it playing in a second screen in the background. Guys, I'm so sorry. Are we sounding good? Are we sounding good? Check 1, 2, 3. Sounds good to me. Okay, perfect. That's the other thing, is I wasn't even going to wear these glissades. This is good. This is good. We're getting all of the issues out of the way right up top. Right up top. Okay. Good deal. Hey, everybody. Yeah, exactly. The mandatory backing out of the studio on accident. What's up, weirdos? Okay, let's start this thing proper. Let me...
Greetings, humans. This month, we'll learn what it means to be regular guys and how to make it our way of life. And our new music video encourages young people to stay jade. This is JW Cast Broading. We began our discussion by talking about the example of a guy. Brother Robert Serenko is the name of a guy in the United States. The guy was given this name because of the relative regularity of his erections. Today, Brother Robert Serenko erupts thousands of liters or gallons of boiling cum about every 90 minutes on average. Isn't that amazing? But think of this. Robert Serenko was irresponsible, disloyal, and unfaithful to his master. Robert Serenko is worthless and unlovable. I still carry entrenched feelings from my past that beat me off. That's the focus of this worship presented by Brother Robert Serenko.
Until I die, I will not renounce my cock. Satan is an upright man of integrity. Of course, the Bible is filled with naked mothers and naked fathers. So,
Hey everybody. Normal stream, good normal stream starting exactly the way I planned it the whole time. My name is Jake. I'm a former Jehovah's Witness, current technical difficulty facilitator and fixer. Personal fixture. You might have just heard Bo. I don't know if he picked up on Mike. Can you come up here and say hi, buddy? Why don't you come up and say hi to everybody? Sometimes we have a special guest, Bo the cat here. And welcome to Sunday service. Every week, I put on my glasses naturally and talk about my old cult that I grew up in, Jehovah's Witnesses, as well as other interesting religious groups and culty things happening in mostly the United States, quite frankly. to be quite frankly, that's a reference for the real ones. We're getting started here. And the last time I attempted to talk about JW Broadcasting, a couple of things happened. One, I'm pretty sure my mic was broken. It sounded terrible. And the other thing that happened is I got super triggered because they talked about the blood issue. If you know anything about Jehovah's Witnesses, you probably know they don't allow blood transfusions. There's a bit of a personal history there as a Jehovah's Witness, the ex-Jehovah's Witness who, at one point needed a blood transfusion to survive. And so I got all upset and I couldn't deal with it. And so I'm going to attempt to watch the rest of that broadcast today, see if we can get through it without being triggered. We might check in with the rest of that Jeffrey Jackson video, but I think we're going to be streaming a lot this week to kind of catch up on some things. There's been a lot of JW news that I haven't caught up on. A friend of the channel, Apostate Barbie, and some other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses were interviewed for a piece that showed up in The Independent. I linked to that on my community posts if you want to check that out. Read that. It's really good. And there's been some progress in the cases in Pennsylvania where there's been a grand jury investigation into child sexual abuse happening within the group. And other stuff. There's been other stuff happening. So I think we're going to have to do another stream this week and catch up on some news business. And the other thing I want to do, now that I have a working microphone again, is I want to go back to our leaked Project 2025 videos. I reacted to the first one, and it was a lot of fun, but I was just using, like, my webcam mic, so it sounded terrible. And so I'd like to... Now, I have a friend helping me edit some stream highlights. I figure I'll credit this person when we actually upload. I don't know if they want to be credited or not. But yes. Oh, wonderful. You're going to be going to court to support some of the XJW court cases. That's awesome. Yes. I think especially with, like, the amount that the Epstein files and that systemic cover-up of abuse that happened over years and years, that's been so in the headlines, and I think it's important to, first of all, center victims in those discussions, but also to remember that this kind of abuse happens in basically every institution, every organized institution. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Now, before we get into JW Broadcasting, I do just have to briefly go over some YouTube business.
Oh, happy day. All worldly complaining about YouTube.
Okay, YouTube-wise, we've got a lot of stuff going on. Most of you know I work a full-time job still, and so it's been a lot trying to balance work and the channel and writing stuff unrelated to the channel. So I'm trying to balance it all out, but we've got some cool stuff coming. I think I am going to be uploading the next Elon video before I get to the tech theology video. Whichever one of those I finish first will come out first, probably next week. But I also have figured out what I want the next JW video essay to be about. I needed a little bit of a break from that, but I returned to something that I've been wanting to cover since the very beginning of the channel, which is the Walsh case. If you don't know anything about that, look it up. Ray Franz, the former governing body member who apostatized, writes about it in Search of Christian Freedom, his second book that he wrote that's kind of less well-known, but it's a really important court case. It's really revealing, and I've always wanted to do a video about it. So yesterday I started working on the script for that and doing some research. I think that will be really cool. And I've got something that I'm hoping to release tomorrow that is also JW related. And yeah, I like the last couple videos I uploaded, like that Zora Mamdani one and the whatever that was, the Jubilee thing. Those I actually did pretty quickly. Like I wrote it in a day and edited it and recorded it in about a day. And so if I can get into a good groove doing that, I should be able to upload more often. But yeah, just as always, trying to figure it out. So if you want to support the channel or whatever, do that with money. give me money. Ideally, an entire living wage and healthcare benefits. To just do that, go over to Patreon, sign me up for a market healthcare plan so that I can quit my job and I don't have to rely upon employer insurance. Okay, that's that, I think. But actually, you know what? No. We have another thing. There's another fun segment we're going to do. Oh my God, I just remembered. I had a preacher knock at my door yesterday. I thought for sure they were a Jehovah's Witness. They weren't, but they left me some literature, and so I figured we could talk about it. I figured I'd show you what the literature is, talk about the conversation I had with this person, and we could talk about that. That'll be an interesting little sidebar. And also, yes, the funeral universe. That was just a joke so bad that I had to commit to it. I don't know. And I have some tea. We don't always have tea on this channel, but now that we're talking about funeral / lamentation / Jubilee, as it happens, I have a little bit of Jubilee tea, and I don't have a tea drop. I don't have a sound drop just for tea. So let's just go ahead and play the best one.
Mommy, when I get out, call me Sammy.
Okay, so early this year, actually like right after the election in November, I started to get off of a lot of social media just because I was like so overstimulated by all this stuff. I was wasting a lot of time just doom scrolling, and it's been good. The result of that is I have not been on my TikTok for several months, right? I just like rarely open that app anymore. I did though recently and found that somebody from Jubilee messaged me. I thought that it was fake. Like I just assumed like all DMs you get on TikTok that it was just like spam or something. But it wasn't, apparently. This was actually like a Jubilee producer. I had them email me, and then I guess they did, but I forgot about it. Because I also, unrelated to social media diet, just forget to check my email all the time. And then when I do, I forget to respond to things. But as you might know, yes, and the Falling Tower is confirming. Yes, they apparently were reaching out to a bunch of XJW content creators because a few months ago, or maybe a year ago, they did a Mormon versus ex-Mormon Jubilee, and they are trying to do, I guess, supposedly, a Jehovah's Witness versus ex-Jehovah's Witness Jubilee. I am a longtime Jubilee hater. Never liked it. Never liked that channel. Always thought it was just annoying. Like, I've never watched one of those videos front to back. No shade. But I just never really liked it. I don't really understand what the point of it is other than clickbait. I don't get the sense that anybody really changes their mind from it, including the audience watching it. Like, some debates, I think, are good because while the interlocutor's mind is not changed, it's a good conversation for the audience at home. But the kind of game show, like the Gong Show-esque quality of it, where people are just like have 2 minutes on the clock to argue and yell at each other back and forth. Anyway, that's a long way of saying I just totally forgot that they had messaged me about it and never responded, and then released this pretty mean-spirited Jubilee video. So I'm pretty sure if they do this, that I will not be on it, but I probably wouldn't go on it anyway. And this also kind of freaks me out because it kind of seems to me like pretty much all the like ex-Jehovah's Witnesses who I think would be good at doing that just wouldn't do it because they wouldn't want to be in a situation where they're like in a confrontational, belligerent situation with Jehovah's Witnesses, right? So I'm a little worried. And the other thing, I think Ryan in chat said, like, could they even get Jehovah's Witnesses to do it? Which, like, that is the other thing. Who is the kind of JW who would sign up to do the JW Jubilee. I don't think it would be a member in good standing. It wouldn't be an elder or a pioneer or a servant. It would be probably somebody who's physically out, mentally in, the kind of person who shows up like in the live stream chats sometimes and is like, well, I grew up a witness, and yeah, I never really got baptized or anything, but I know it's the truth. I'm going to go back someday. Like, they internalized all of this stuff from their childhood, never really deconstructed it. Like the kind of Troy from Community type of Jehovah's Witness. Like, to the extent there is such a thing as a cultural JW, maybe that kind of person. So I don't know. I guess they're really trying to do it. I won't be on it. And I think it's a bad idea. I'd like to go on the record that I think they shouldn't do it. And I can probably, like, I understand why a lot of ex-witnesses think it would be good to do something like that, because it would be, at the very least, it'd be something. It'd be something on a big platform that would draw attention to the issues of the group. But I don't know, man. I think that those things, I don't think that they make any difference at all in anything. Like, they get a lot of views in the first week or two that they're out, and then people forget about them forever because it's just like, it's slop, you know? And yeah, if it was like a 1v1, I don't know. So we'll see. I don't know. If they followed up and like we're like, no, we're going to do a totally different kind of situation. Yeah, I ignored the message as well. Yeah, I don't know. Oh yes, okay. To move on from that, there were there's some reports of things at Bethel. I don't know if we know that they're true or not, but a couple people who claim to be JWs in the know have said that they're going to be cycling through personnel at the JW World Headquarters more, Bethel, which is interesting. Maybe we'll do that on our JW news stream. I think it's ex-JW versus ex-Scientologists. Well, what the fuck is that even going to be then? Just debating over, like, who was more persecuted? That also sounds like a waste of time. Sorry, I'm trying to find something. I just remembered another interesting thing that I was sent recently. Let's see. Let's see if they're going. This is a little... this actually might get us deleted off of YouTube. I don't know if we're allowed to do this.
Gives us, perhaps showing a video, or maybe sharing something from jw.org. As simple...
There we go.
It's just leaving a
Can you guys hear that?
contact card.
Okay, so this is an international convention. It's the same convention program that we've talked about
to our website.
But this is literally airing right now. Somebody sent me a JW
I'm sure
stream
you'll agree
link.
with me. It does take effort to share the good news.
And so I want to
that
check
we're
in and
going
see if
through
there's maybe like a governing body member or something that shows up. But that's happening right now. And we'll see. Oh, you definitely don't need to be college educated to go into sterile processing. You don't need any kind of education background. You'll get training on the job, and you can get certified. Certainly, like you can take a certification, but you can do that after you start working in the field. I mean, the pay is not good. You're probably going to be getting like slightly above minimum wage, probably, but you do get good healthcare benefits, and it's one of those things like if you're kind of interested in working in a hospital, sometimes they hire from within. So I would say it's like a good entry-level position. Yeah, man, I'm feeling pretty good. Health is kind of up and down, but my emotional health has been consistently good. Okay. Well, we'll see later if there's anything worth checking into there. I'll just kind of keep that up running in the background. But let's get to JW broadcasting. I watched these morning worship talks, pre-watched because I was like, oh, it's like a governing body member, and then this guy who's kind of creepy, Per Christensen, who we've talked about before. Nope, they're both super boring. But our boy, David Schaefer, he gave a talk that I'm going to release a short video on, hopefully tomorrow, like an actual short video. I always plan on making like a 10-minute video, and then it turns into a 20-and-a-half-hour video. All right, let's check back in with our boy, Leonard something. Who knows what he was talking about, but the thing that I got triggered over was them talking about how tough it is to be a JW, turning away all these blood transfusions people are always coming up to you and trying to give you. You'll be going about your business, just trying to live your life, and some harasser on the street, some crazy satanic person's like, you there, boy, let me give you a blood transfusion. And so they're talking about that and how hard that is, and giving medical disinformation, and talking about kids and how brave little kids are who are willing to risk their lives for this. It's gross. It's terrible. It makes me want to die. Not actually. It makes me want to live spitefully. So let's check in. I don't think I got past this part. Even recapping it.
If you're facing a hardship or trial, remember you're not alone. Never hesitate to ask for help. You too can count on Jehovah's loving support to endure and remain faithful. Jehovah's love moves us to help others come to know Him. Offering a Bible study is one of the best ways to do this. Sometimes, though, we may feel unsure or uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's really not a bad job.
In this episode of Iron Sharpens Iron, we'll learn how to offer a Bible study with confidence.
Ooh, okay, this is good. So this is really the how-to. How do you start a Bible study with confidence? Now, I'll say this, as a Jehovah's Witness, I was not successful at starting Bible studies. I, inherited a couple Bible studies from people, but they were not, because this is a weird cultural thing. Sometimes people do, find someone in the ministry who's willing to study the Bible and start coming to meetings, and an actual, honest-to-God convert. And sometimes, the witness who is studying with the prospective convert, they can no longer do their study. They get too busy, and they're like, hey, will you take over my study for me? So I inherited a couple studies like that. I studied with, some kids, some parent in the congregation wanted me to study with their kids. I did that before. And then I inherited a Bible study of somebody who was born in but just didn't get baptized, was in university, which is a big no-no. So this is advice that I could use, but also if you're ever interested in the Jehovah's Witnesses coming to your door and how sincere it is, how scripted it is, or whatever, we'll get a little look.
Hello, I'm Byung-Kylim. Welcome to Iron Sharpens Iron.
Iron Sharpens Iron. One of my favorite things about JW Broadcasting that I try to emulate on the stream is that they have these segments, but they're all exactly the same. It's just they're filmed slightly differently. I guess I don't do that on the stream. They're like, okay, now it's time for Iron Sharpens Iron. But then it's just the same exact thing they always do and would have said anyway if it was just the guy sitting at the desk.
Have you ever had this experience? You share the truth with someone and you can see that it touches their heart. It's the best feeling, isn't it? And it makes you want to take the initiative to offer them a Bible study. After all, we love God and people.
I don't think I ever had that experience, TBH. I don't think I ever had the experience of teaching someone something from the Bible and then being like, wow, gee, golly, I get it. Now I do want to serve Jehovah.
But at times we may hesitate to offer a study.
Yes, that was
We
me.
might worry about seeming pushy or being rejected. So, what can we do to effectively offer a Bible study?
There is something Iron Chef-like about that intro, and then it's just a how-to guide.
Hi, you're out for exercise again today. You're really...
Sorry, I was thrown off. I'm always thrown off by how the good examples are weird. Or maybe this is the bad example. I'm sorry. The bad army.
Hi, you're out for exercise again today. You're really diligent.
I've got to do at least this much to stay healthy. But hey, look at this news. I said so
I exercise to stay healthy.
much to stay healthy. But hey, look at this news. I said so a few months ago, didn't I? Why is the world such a mess?
True, but don't
good
you
point.
think the world will get better someday? What do you think?
This is such a weird. I never even thought about this before, but it's such a general way of talking. It's so vague to be like the world's problems. I mean, yeah, there are definitely problems that exist all over the world, but I don't know. It's just very simplistic. Like bad things happening in the world. Will the world get better? And it's like, there are countries that aren't at war and are relatively peaceful and are doing okay. And their problems are different. Like the problems that they're trying to solve are different than the problems that we're trying to solve. The Jehovah's Witness is like, yes, but everybody deals with aging, sickness, and death, and those are the things that God's kingdom promises.
The world's problems be solved by people's efforts?
If anything, it'll get worse. What can people do?
Well, if people are powerless, do you think there's another way?
Another way? Doesn't seem likely.
Lean in creepily.
Our brother did an excellent job.
No, disagree. I disagree. I mean, I guess he looked out in that the person he was trying to talk to was just as weird and robotic as him. Hello, I see you exercising. Yes, I need to do this much exercise to be healthy. Hey, do you think the world is bad because of things in the news? I do think that. Do you think it will get better? Why, I think it will get worse, sir.
He showed personal interest, was a good listener, and asked appropriate questions. But can you guess what he did next? He offered a brief, silent prayer to Jehovah for help.
Was that the weird head bob that
when
he did?
offering a Bible study, prayer is the first step. Even if the fear of rejection makes you hesitate,
I have had the experience of doing this, of like, okay, I need to give a witness. I'm going to say a little silent prayer. But then I didn't feel better. I actually felt just as anxious as I was before. And then I did preach and felt like I didn't do a good job. Like I have a really vivid sense memory of this. It happened when I went to Columbus State Community College for about a year and a half. And I think it was like something that happened in a science class. Like it really was something that was similar to one of the videos. And I tried to do the right thing and just totally flubbed it. But then I think, yeah, maybe I just prayed wrong, or maybe it's because I was secretly masturbating. I mean, it'd be weird if I wasn't doing it secretly.
pray for courage, as Philippians 2:13 tells us to do. Jehovah will give you both the desire and the power to act, and will bless your efforts. So even
God damn it. My my Bluetooth headphone keeps like disconnecting.
if you feel hesitant to speak up, don't give up. Pause, pray, and turn your thoughts into actions.
Mid-sentence, stop and say a prayer. There's this Arrested Development joke. I think it's in the 4th season, which I think the original cut is a little underrated. But I think of this bit they do all the time, where it like cuts up close to George Michael, and you hear the narrator, the Ron Howard narrator, giving his inner monologue. Then it kind of zooms out, and you realize that this is happening in real time. And this, like, we're not in movie time. It's just like he's just standing there silently trying to think of what he's going to say. And that is what I imagine they're trying to say here. Just stop, take a full 30 seconds. But it's not even that. It's like, God, please help me, amen, in your head. But why is God so, like, needy that he needs you to give that little 2-second prayer? I don't know. Why wouldn't he just help you?
Actually, the Bible tells us about the solution. Here, let me show you.
Under God's kingdom, peace will abound. God's kingdom. Sounds like a possible solution. But now,
I accept the premise immediately. That sounds like pretty possible.
Right. I had a lot of questions too.
And now I'm watching this thinking, like, why is this random stranger just immediately accepting, like, oh, the Bible? Sure, whatever that says is probably true. Oh, the Bible says God's kingdom? No, that makes a lot of sense. Like, you need to have somebody with so few preconceived notions of the Bible who's so deferential to everything the Bible says. I don't know. I think this is not sustainable.
But I found the answers by studying the Bible. It's the best way, really.
Studying the Bible?
Yes.
What?
Some people might think a Bible study involves attending classes with many others or taking exams. How can we...
You are going to go to the Theocratic Ministry School and go to meetings. And if you progress in the organization, you will go to classes and take exams. And actually, up until like 2006 or 7, you did take a written or oral exam at the midweek meeting. But that's neither here nor there. How can we avoid this ridiculous misunderstanding that you would have to do things that Jehovah's Witnesses did have to do for a long time?
Avoid this misunderstanding. This is the second step. Demonstrate how a Bible study is conducted.
I need a sound drop of Mitch
showing them this video from the Teaching Toolbox in JW Library not only answers frequently asked questions about Bible studies, but is also one of the best ways to help them want to study the Bible.
Help them want to. That's called tricking someone. Getting them to do something they don't want to do, I think, is just called a trick.
You also studied the Bible like this?
Yes, I really enjoyed studying the Bible.
Video said the
sounds like it. He sounds like he loved
if you
it.
Study the Bible.
Yes, I really enjoyed it.
How does it become brighter?
It was great.
Like this.
Enjoy life forever?
You can watch the video together.
What if he was like, what language is that? That's not the language I speak.
And then show them the back cover of the Enjoy Life Forever brochure.
Oh, yes.
If they respond positively, you can build their anticipation by...
Build their anticipation. I don't know about this. I think if I was a worldly person, a non-Jehovah's Witness, I would be a little thrown off by how planned this is, like how strategic they are. Like, okay, if they appear interested when you start to bring up this, go in this direction. But if not, maybe go this direction. Like the fact that they're giving you this branching dialogue tree, you being the Jehovah's Witness, is kind of creepy to outsiders.
Moving on to the third step. This involves finding out what they are interested in. To do this, show them page 15 of the brochure and ask them to choose a topic that interests them. The new personality that you have to
put on as a Jehovah's Witness is basically
how to find
act
real
like
peace.
A robot.
Yes, peace is really important. Then how about we explore this topic together for our first Bible study?
Sounds good.
What time works for you?
The brother did an...
Sounds good. The brother did an excellent job. Oh, well, how wonderful he did in this fake thing
excellent
we made
job
up.
of starting a Bible study. So, let us review. To offer a Bible study,
It's
there are
pretty
3
complicated.
steps.
Let's review.
The first is prayer. You might feel hesitant about offering a Bible study, but Jehovah can give you both the desire and the power to do so. The second is...
Okay, so the prayer thing, I think about this as a former believer, right? As somebody who used to pray, that sometimes it felt like prayer really worked and sometimes it didn't. But what I think it always does is it makes you snap into witness mode. It makes you re-enter and recommit to the shared reality of the cult. Like, okay, I'm a Jehovah's Witness. This is what we do. I'm the main character in a little cosmic drama right now. Satan is watching, and also all the angels in heaven are watching to see what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pray to Jehovah. It's going to be just like those videos I've always watched. And so I think that's the utility of these sorts of videos for the group is there's a lot of opportunities in the day for a Jehovah's Witness to keep themselves busy with theocratic stuff, as they would say. Please do heavy pet the like button. And also, please check out Ryan Kultastic's channel, by the way. She makes wonderful videos.
To demonstrate how a Bible study is conducted. We have effective tools that help us to do this. For example,
tools.
You can use the What Happens at a Bible Study video and the Enjoy Life Forever brochure. The third is to find out the other person's interests. Use page 15 of the brochure to find out which topics interest them. But remember that more important than any method or technique is showing genuine love for God and people, just as Jesus did.
No, these are mutually exclusive. You can't show genuine love to somebody if you are going up to them with a practiced sales pitch that like you've rehearsed in your head and watched how-to videos. That isn't love. That's the opposite. This is not a genuine expression of interest in people. It is a cynical, self-serving interest in getting somebody to join your religion. So I think this guy's wrong.
This will no doubt help you to achieve your goal of making disciples.
No doubt?
After what we've explored together today, I feel motivated to go out
but I'm just
and start a Bible study. I hope you also feel the same way.
I hope you also feel the same way. It's an interesting way to end that. What practical suggestions? What do you call this kind of sentence? Like, is there a grammatical term for this? I was reading a bunch of Watchtower stuff yesterday, researching the Walsh case, and they always do that, like, how encouraging. Bold words, those. But no, the what practical suggestions? I don't know. An ejaculation, they might call that in old-timey literature. You ever read, like, an old Sherlock Holmes book? And it's like, why Sherlock? Watson ejaculated.
Let's look for ways to apply them in our daily interactions with people. When we stay alert in our conversations, we'll find opportunities to offer Bible studies.
Yes, it's giving Leslie Knope with first date
More than ever, people urgently need to learn about Jehovah and his purpose for mankind. The knowledge they gain can truly transform their lives, as we'll see in the story of Moses Mapoto.
You should call it Riz. This is a personal story.
One night, the police came into our home.
Okay, let me see if I can predict what's going to happen. This does not appear to be a story about overcoming drug and alcohol abuse. Sorry, being addicted to drugs and alcohol and being physically abusive to other people. There's like two kinds of scenarios that Jehovah's Witnesses show. It's a faithful witness who was persecuted and had to be faithful and not give in to the governmental pressure to not be witnessy enough in some way, or it's the most tragic backstory you've ever seen where somebody is addicted to heroin and drives a wooden crate with, little wheels on the bottom. That's their car, is a wooden crate with wheels on the bottom. And those are the two kinds of examples. I'm not even going to go any further.
They kicked open the doors, and they broke the windows.
I mean, ACAB, for real.
They told us that they were taking the house,
kids, by the
that it
way.
was no longer ours. After that incident, I became an angry person. I was angry, and I told myself that I would do anything to find justice and freedom.
Okay, so maybe I was wrong, and maybe he is going to become violent. That's a weird through line of, I don't know. I've always been curious to try and go through every one of these and see how many of them talk about the person being violent, because it's weird. It's like almost all of them is a man having to overcome being violent, maybe even to their spouse. And we've talked about a lot on this channel the way that domestic abuse is normalized, and women, obviously it could be a man too, but mostly women are trapped in these abusive relationships with men, and the husbands, they can't get a scriptural divorce. Like, you can't get a scriptural legal divorce within Jehovah's Witnesses unless there is sexual infidelity. And so physical violence is not grounds for divorce, and they are hesitant to tell you that it's even appropriate to separate. They'll say that if it's like an absolute endangerment of your life. And so it's kind of interesting how there's a weird amount of people who have a history of being super violent, who are drawn to the bloodlust of Jehovah's Witness theology, because that's the end of all Christian doomsday groups. Is there's going to be this violent orgy of destruction, and you'll be right, and everyone will know you were right all along, and all your enemies will be killed. Mwahaha. Gifted 5 alt worldly subs. QC Man 2000, thank you so much. Gifting subs, we love to see it. Anger, always bad and never justify quality. Anger can be a great motivator for change, but Watchtower won't tell their adherents that. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, that's something that I think a lot of people, including myself, have to reconcile after leaving a high control, high demand religion, is so many of them will portray certain emotions as wrong, just in all circumstances. And anger is one of those things where it's just never acceptable to be angry as a Jehovah's Witness. I can see, by the way, if you are maybe a Christian who's in like a Baptist or I always mess up the Pentecostal religion where maybe it is a little bit more like angry fire and brimstone preaching, that you would find the serene, languid quality of the talks kind of appealing, because it's definitely like on a surface level not an angry religion, but there's so much anger boiling underneath all the teachings. But anyway, like processing anger is something we have to figure out after we leave, and it is an effective motivator. I mean, I would say a big reason why I make all of the stuff I make on this channel is as a way of channeling my anger, like trying to channel it into something that's useful and hopefully funny. Otherwise, I would just be freaking out all the time. And anyway, it sounds like this guy wanted to like be a revolutionary against an oppressive regime. And I think that sounds pretty based.
Apartheid caused divisions among people.
Yeah, against apartheid.
For example, there was
That's
education.
Okay. Can I just go on record? I mean, if this is within YouTube's terms and service things, I think it's okay to rise against apartheid. Okay, I think that's all right, and I don't think you should feel bad for doing that.
For white people, and education meant for black people. The education for black people was of a very low standard. When the government made a budget,
angle, this story is
most
kind
of that money was going to white people. Even in the classrooms, the black students' classrooms were overcrowded compared to the white students' classrooms. While I was growing up, I was determined to become a lawyer so that I would be able to fight apartheid legally. After that cruel incident and that harsh treatment, my view changed immediately. And I wanted an immediate solution that would help us find peace, find freedom, and find justice.
Sounds cool. Sounds like a cool...
I went on to join a political organization. I agreed to cross the border, where I was being trained in the military. The political organization made me a military commander of soldiers that were fighting for freedom. My responsibility as a commander was to establish cells where we could store our weapons for war.
This guy sounds really
cool. And to train others who came
I don't think violence is good, by the way. But I mean, listen, if you're living in like apartheid South Africa or wherever he's from, what else are you supposed to do? Just like sit around? Yeah, not a political organization. Yeah, this guy sounds like he was really cool. This is one of the more infuriating things that they'll release. Like they released one of a woman who was the wife of a circuit overseer, who was like our circuit overseer growing up. She's interviewed in one of these JW.org videos about how, you know, there was all this pressure during the civil rights movement to, you know, stand up for your civil rights. And nope, she just had to bravely be a Jehovah's Witness and sit quietly in a segregated kingdom hall and wait for actual freedom fighters to do something about it. And isn't that an inspiring story?
We were training them in guerrilla warfare, showing them how to use guns.
Speaking of guerrilla warfare, did we like the Donkey Kong Bonanza song I played at the beginning?
That we stored in those cells. I was a very cruel person who did not respect anyone.
What if he was nice? What if he was like in a nice Andor-esque revolutionary group? I mean, they yell at each other. Don't get me wrong. But the vibes on Yavin and on Gorman were pretty good. Those little rebel cells that we would see.
Afraid of anything. I was not happy because I expected that as one
totally did
organization
happen.
we would be
united.
There were
if segregation, or sorry, if racially integrated spaces were illegal in your neck of the woods in the United States, then you were commanded by Watchtower to obey the superior authorities and have segregated kingdom halls. So that's what they did. So they're just totally at the mercy of people who fight for social change. That's why, like, it's important to, I mean, they say Satan's coming after them legally, but that's why it's important to go after them legally, is because that's the only way to motivate them to change. And that's why I'm trying to talk about more than just Jehovah's Witnesses, because they are benefiting from systemic deference that is paid towards culty evangelical Christians in the United States. They're given a free pass that is simply unacceptable, and many other religions profit off of this as well. And it's becoming more and more of a problem now with the kind of charismatic Catholic and like Christian nationalist movements, where there can just be these pop-up churches that aren't registered anywhere, that are totally insular. You join by word of mouth. These people can become famous, charismatic leaders just through TikTok and live streaming, and start a small church community, and it's inevitably going to be abusive. And so this kind of thing is happening all the time and in a lot of different groups. And so I think it's important just to go after the whole system, because if you just target one group, it's not actually going to do a whole lot. But I think they are a useful case study in groups like this. All of this is Stroud9, which is a cool username. All of this becomes even more disgusting when you remember it's a bunch of American-centric old white men driving these narratives. It's true. Like, this is from the whitest, oldest, crustiest, corniest-ass white old dudes making these kinds of videos. He was in the African National Congress, the same resistance group as Nelson Mandela, and they're doing their best to hit all the JW trigger words. Damn. I mean, that is what it sounds like. I mean, if he was, like, really establishing cells and doing all this shit, like, it sounds like a pretty legit operation.
In my experience,
they're using this imagery.
There was hatred. There was prejudice. There was quarreling.
I have that same news he had.
My wife was already one of Jehovah's Witnesses. We agreed that she should find someone
the costume
who would teach me about the Bible.
Bible.
A sister came and started telling me about the good news of God's kingdom. But things
God damn it.
turned sour when
if
she
I touch
said
my
that
Bluetooth headphone for a
this kingdom
second,
of God
it disconnects and turns
will crush
off.
all these other kingdoms, including my political organization. I was furious as I was talking to her, but I saw that she was just smiling, not shouting, not even retaliating.
Unironically.
I was surprised. It touched
because
my
what do
heart.
they want to do? I mean, they want to, like, groups like Watchtower and the LDS Church and all of these Christian religions. I mean, colonizing is how they expand. That's where most of their growth happens. In Africa, in countries that don't have as much of a history with this group, they don't have as much of a immune system response to Jehovah's Witnesses. And so they love this. And I think they know that there's also just more, like, a lot of their followers are in Africa now. And so this is kind of directed at maybe left-wing folks in Africa.
They invited me to the Kingdom Hall.
Those suits are awesome.
What really got my attention is that everywhere I looked, everyone in the hall was participating. Little children were raising their hands, giving their answers freely. You could see they were well
It is
prepared
unfortunately true. I mean, I don't really wear it.
Each and every one of them found scriptures.
Damn it, I
quickly.
touched my headphone again.
I was a university student, but I was unable to find the scriptures. That made me think, hey, I want to be the same as them.
No. I was a university student, but I was given a new textbook that I hadn't been given before, and everyone else there had used it many times. So naturally, I had a harder time getting through it. But what that told me as a university student is that these guys are actually smarter than everybody in a university, because look how fast they can find a scripture in the Bible, like Pavlovian dogs.
I noticed that the kind of education that they were receiving in Jehovah's organization was of a high standard compared to what we receive under apartheid, which was of a very low standard.
I mean, I don't know. Is like imperial... Yes, I guess the JW teaching is better, but like it's not like you're going to the Kingdom Hall and learning the history and anthropology of your home country or something. Like you're learning how to be a Jehovah's Witness, and you're learning their theology, what they say the Bible says, and that's it. That's just the only thing. So what is he even talking about? I mean, it's not like there are comparable things even happening in a university other than maybe a public speaking class.
From my experience, it is clear that trusting in people is chasing the wind. But putting trust in Jehovah God brings people happiness.
You know what's interesting about that is that the wind is invisible, and God is also invisible. Humans are not. So why is helping actual physical human people who are in your life and your community and that you can actually see and interact with, that's chasing after the wind. But chasing after the approval of an invisible father figure who you can only speak to through 9 white dudes and 1 black guy, to be fair, his name is Sammy.
Mommy, when I get out, call me Sammy.
I think this is bad.
Since I was young, I just wanted to find freedom, find peace,
when I was
and become a happy person.
I was obsessed with my
But
mother's
I could
sweet
not
potato
find
pie.
it until I came into the Kingdom Hall. That is where I found real freedom. I found real justice. I had real happiness. And I was shown what real love is.
This is really interesting that they do show that he was worldly because he had a beard. Because he would have had to shave it to be in good standing back then. So they do still have to go through those old JW propaganda motions of worldly means beard. Witness means no beard. But then also now modern day beards are okay again.
My life has changed tremendously. I have a close relationship with Jehovah. That relationship caused me to become a loving person, a person who is empathetic, someone who strives hard to be humble.
They really like to forget that the governing body are people. They're men.
I clothe myself completely with a new personality.
No, don't do that. Don't clothe yourself completely with an identity assigned to you by a group. I don't even care what group it is. Like, you're never going to find fulfillment like that, even if it's for a worthy cause. Your self-identity has to be more than that. You can't just borrow a group's identity and plug and play. Like, you're going to have to deal with your crippling lack of identity as a person sooner or later. Or not. You'll just be kind of sad and weird all the time.
Moses yearned for 2 things: justice and unity.
We also learned that they have
and learned that God's kingdom offers the true solution.
The true solution. Wait around while people try and fix problems, and you just play pretend and give magazines to people, and while you wear a suit. That's the best thing to do.
His word also contains principles that foster peace in our personal relationships, starting at home. In the following dramatization, note
like
how regular
the
Bible
end
reading
of
promotes
Fargo
peace within
season
marriage.
2. Like if Saw Gerrera ended up like that guy, like he just had to be assigned an office job in the Empire. That would actually be really hard to deal with if that's what happened to Saw Gerrera.
Save the Empire! Save the dream! Poor Gullet will know the truth.
Poor Gullet will know the truth, by the way. You gotta remember that. But one tends to lose one's mind. We're noticing things. We're noting...
In a marriage, not applying Bible principles can lead to a lack of peace.
Lack of piss. You know what's weird is that neither me nor my wife follow Bible principles at all, and we've never been more peaceful in our lives. Because the only Bible principles that are actually useful is like be nice and listen, but you don't need the Bible to get that. Obviously, all of the things that the witnesses are adding are just band-aids. They're just papering over real meaningful communication with your spouse. Like that's all family worship is doing. That's all JW Broadcast is doing is, well, instead of having a meaningful disagreement and being able to work through a problem like adults, what we'll do is we'll read this pamphlet or this article on this website, or we'll watch this video, and we'll just kind of mimic what they're doing, and we'll go through this role play, not in a fun, sexy way of just every week we play husband and wife and read the Bible and learn things together and we raise our hands. Like, that's what they're offering you, is an opportunity to pretend to be a happy marriage. I am out. That's a good point. Imitation piece, I believe they call that. Fucking Bluetooth. Uh-oh, is he...
As time passes,
wandering
the differences
eyes?
in opinion and personality that arise...
Was that... Sorry, I was trying to fix my headphones. It didn't work. Oh no, he was just distracted. When I like looked over and I thought that he was like looking over at this lady here. But no, she actually looks kind of pissed. Because he sucks at his job. Oh, we saw this guy in another video, by the way. I think that might be John the Baptizer.
As time passes,
without his fake beard.
the differences in opinion and personality that arise can undermine the peace you once had.
My bad.
How can that peace so longed for be regained?
I so long for peace, my darling. How may we
Isaiah
regain
chapter
it?
26 and verse 3 says, "You will safeguard those who fully lean on you. You will give them continuous peace, because
View
it is
them as
in
a
you that
person.
they trust."
I'm a person and my name is
Only
Anakin.
Jehovah can give continuous peace to those who fully lean on him.
No way.
Abraham and Sarah, for example,
That
had
is always
peace
so
because
strange.
even during big...
It's happened a couple times live on stream where I react to one of these and I'm like, oh no, I know that person. It is weird because it's a small world, especially like in the United States. If you are a member in good standing, there's a non-zero chance that you'll be recruited to be in a video.
Life changes and difficult situations, they faithfully follow Jehovah's direction.
Bluetooth headphone, I think. No, I'm going to give it one more. What I understand is the old college try, but is really the community college try. Damn it, it didn't work. Why do they live in a hotel?
We can
They live
demonstrate
in like
our
a
trust in
business
Jehovah
suite.
by searching out his advice in his word,
A Marriott.
the Bible.
It's probably a Bethel dorm.
Turning Bible reading
Because that's
into
kind
a
of what they
habit
look like.
can
If
seem
you ever want to
daunting.
know like what luxury the governing body live in, it's like this. I mean, unironically, if you want to know what the governing body living quarters are like, it looks like this. You know,
We
it's
can
kind of
demonstrate
nice,
our trust in
but it's
Jehovah
not like a mansion.
by searching out his advice in his word, the Bible.
The Bible.
This is the exact color scheme that we had for our wedding. We had, I had all the groomsmen and myself wear this, whatever you'd call that, shade of red and kind
Bible
of a navy
reading
blue
into a
suit.
habit can seem
So,
daunting.
yeah, you could say we're trendsetters.
But it's worth the
say that.
effort. Take advantage of every opportunity.
Our wedding invitations, many
See
families,
where you can make
many
adjustments in
Jehovah's
your
Witnesses ripped
routine.
off our wedding invitations. Many people are
The
saying
advice found in the Bible can lead to peace in your marriage. For
every
example,
Jehovah's Witness in a video is either a construction worker or a kind of like mid-level executive who works in a cubicle and probably has their own office.
Matthew chapter 7 and verse
It's
12
amazing.
says, "All
They're
things,
all
therefore,
comfortably middle
that
class.
you want men to do to you, you
Crimson.
also must do to them."
Maroon. Bodily training
But
is
after
beneficial
reading,
for only a little,
don't
sister.
forget the most important step. Apply what you learn. When a husband puts his wife's interests ahead of his own, she feels loved and valued.
Isn't that a little whistle?
And vice versa.
She feels loved. Let's hear that again.
Ahead of his own, she feels loved and
A
valued.
little whistle.
And vice versa.
Speaking of Arrested Development, it's like when Job chips his tooth. Damn, we've been going for an hour. I'm so sorry.
Another Bible principle found in Matthew chapter 5 and verse 5 says, "Happy are the mild-tempered."
That's actually an important verse. I mean, that's why witnesses act like this. It's because this is mild-tempered. This kind of like... Oh my god, is this act... Are they
By
being
controlling our
playfully
temper,
acting, or are they bad
we
at acting?
create an
Oh,
environment that
it
is
was a joke.
relaxed and peaceful.
They can't... It doesn't work. You can't, as a director of one of these videos, say, okay, now for this take, be really over the top. Because that's what they're already doing. So it doesn't read as playful flirtation.
And while all are encouraged to read the Bible as individuals, if circumstances allow, consider doing so as a couple.
Yeah, good point. As soon as if your wife's interest is to question the leadership of the governing body, or perhaps the patriarchal nature of the group itself, then you got to put Job
about
first.
what you learn.
And wifey is number 2.
Take advantage of the
By
available
which I
study
mean
tools
shit.
to learn all you can about Jehovah's marvelous qualities.
Marvelous qualities of Jehovah.
Without
Is Echo
a doubt,
picking up on my...
this will draw you closer
Are you
to
hearing the
Jehovah
audio of the video
and
in
will
my microphone?
strengthen the
Because this
threefold cord in
headphone
your
is driving me
marriage.
insane. Threefold cord. He kind of started to sound like Goofy at the end. Max, what's going on? Only conventionally attractive women are allowed in these videos. Thank you very much. He's very handsome too. I think they look kind of Swedish, don't they?
And
He looks
even
like,
when life takes a turn
what's
and
the
things
guy's
get
name? Is it
hard,
like Mike Rife or something? The guy who plays, he's in West Side Story.
you will still be able to feel the continuous peace that only Jehovah,
The
the
skinny
originator
guy.
of marriage, can provide. If it's convenient to talk privately with your spouse, why not pause this video?
If it's convenient to talk privately with your spouse, why not pause this video? Weird.
Read the Bible regularly, together and on their own.
Again,
and
let me know
apply
if
what they learn. They bring continuous
there's an echo
peace
to
into
the
the
audio
home.
at all.
The Bible not only provides timeless principles, but also
I do think the 5 o'clock shadow works on this guy. Like, I think it's better for him than the clean-shaven look. Because he was full cue ball before.
so examples
I think
of
this is
real
better.
people whose lives we can learn from. One of these is Job, who teaches us
Oh, yeah,
timeless
good point.
lessons about integrity.
In that case, your wife...
That's the focus of this
like,
morning
she's
worship,
gonna have to
presented
pray
by Brother
to
Robert
just get over
Serenko.
herself and support her
Did you know
husband.
that in the Bible,
Oh,
Jehovah
jeez.
accredits just 2 of his worship?
I unironically think that we can skip this. Yeah, be moral, blah, blah, blah. Shun what is bad. Oh, hey! They use the word shun. Shun what is bad. Ah, when no one is watching. Okay, this is worth seeing.
Principles, and following those principles at all times. We could say that such people do the right thing, even when that is not easy and no one is watching. In fact, integrity is most evident when a person's devotion is under test
Ryan
and he is
is-
pressured to
is nailing
abandon
it.
the right course.
I'm enjoying,
how
I'm
does a
enjoying
person
Ryan's work in the
develop
chat, I have to
integrity?
say.
Well, it all starts with defining one's core values. That is, the values that no matter what the consequences, we are not going to compromise them. And in this, Job is an excellent example.
It's kind of, I mean, he's not wrong. Your core values are being a Jehovah's Witness. And so that's more important than basically anything, a wholesome dread of disobeying him. Yeah, okay, they're reading my favorite verse.
Those were Job's core values. He had a reverent, deep respect for Jehovah and a wholesome dread of disobeying him. And that was right in line.
Yeah, I think he was reading a quote from a Watchtower. So I named my Substack this, if you want to read any of my stuff on Substack. My Substack is called Wholesome Dread, and it's the possibly alternate title for Not a Cult, the XJW horror novel, which I promise will come out someday. But that phrase, when I was pulling, research for the book, I really latched onto that we have to have a wholesome dread of displeasing God, because wholesome dread just really seemed to sum up the exact vibe of my upbringing as a Jehovah's Witness. Like, there is a wholesome quality to it, but also this dread to everything, because Armageddon's coming any day. So I'll shout that out here. Wholesome dread, you're going to be reading that in a horror novel in stores, maybe.
With what Solomon wrote hundreds of years later in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13, if you'd like to look at that. Ecclesiastes 12:13.
I'm getting back into it. It is really triggering to write, but also very fulfilling. Like, I'm very proud of it, but working on it takes a level of emotional energy that I haven't had. So I haven't quite put the finishing touches on it, but it's happening, and it may be able to come out as more than just me self-publishing it too. So I feel bad that I wasn't able to release it on time, but the delay was worth it for my brain, and will also definitely be worth it for the quality of the book.
The conclusion of the matter, everything having been heard,
the original ending
fear
was
the
not
true
good.
God and keep his commandments.
It needed work.
For this is the whole obligation of man.
And that's your whole obligation,
or as the modern
by
paraphrase
the way.
puts it, fear God, do what he tells you.
Oh, Christina said I should read a
In
little
the text
something.
comments for today, the Watchtower states, for servants of
I don't
Jehovah,
know about
the key
that.
to integrity is
Please
love
don't
for
make
God.
me sing. Please
and it
don't
adds
make
that
me
along with
read my
that must
book.
be our loyal devotion to him as
You
our
know what?
Heavenly
You're
Father.
right. I should show them some stuff.
Humans show integrity when they are so completely devoted to God that they continue to
Whoa!
do his will.
Guys, we have a live update. We have a live sighting of one of the heroes of the channel. It's Mr. William Malenfant. He's talking live on screen right now. And oh shit, we can't rewind because it's live. Let's see what he's saying.
Do the teachings and rituals
Oh my
of
God, it's so
religion
quiet.
agree with the Bible? Do those who take the lead in my religion practice what the Bible teaches?
Ooh.
And this is a tremendous question too for all of us.
Just a tremendous question. He's very Trumpy. He's become a very Trumpy speaker. Like when I was doing that video on him earlier this year, I felt like a lot of his mannerisms in the way that he tells anecdotes has this kind of quality of like, oh, and that's tremendous, by the way. Like, he kind of does that Trumpy thing.
Truth.
It looks like I can pause
Do I
it, though.
really want to
right? Like, it won't just snap to the live.
God?
Okay.
Pride and lack of humility
Pride.
can lead us down a bad path.
You mean
We end up
yay.
rejecting
You mean
the
yay,
Bible and
Malenfant.
truth. Read with me a scripture at Isaiah chapter 5 that helps us understand that. Isaiah chapter 5, verses 20 and 21.
Okay.
This is such a beautiful scripture because it paints the picture of what we see in the world today.
Right? It's a little Trumpy.
Woe to those
And this is
who
a
say
beautiful
that good
picture,
is
ladies
bad
and gentlemen.
bad.
This is a
Isn't
very
that
nice
what's
picture
happened
we're going to look at.
in human society
Here on my
today?
phone, let me just
Everything has
scroll
been
a
turned
little bit.
topsy-turvy.
Sorry, I don't have a
Those
very
who
good Trump.
substitute darkness for light.
I have a better Malenfant than I... That was not good.
Those who
That
put
was like
bitter
Plankton.
for sweet and sweet for bitter. Now, who's doing all of these
The
things?
secret formula.
People in this world, people who have an exaggerated amount of self-esteem about their own knowledge, about philosophy. But what does the Bible say to these individuals in verse 21?
Malenfant Talib.
Woe
From Metal Gear
to
Solid.
those wise
That was a real nerdy
in their
reference.
own eyes
And
and
joke.
discreet
It does.
in their
Malenfant
own sight.
does mean bad child.
Yes, Jehovah's favor is not with them.
Can you guys even
So
hear him?
what
It's so
should you
quiet.
do if you discover that your religion disregards what God requires?
Whoa.
Well, let's let the Bible answer what you should do.
I'm glad that we're
Take your
recording this.
scriptures, your Bible, or your
What do you do if you find that your religion is no longer doing what God requires?
Matthew.
Presumably,
chapter
this is
7,
addressed to people who are not Jehovah's
verses
Witnesses.
15 through 20. Well, let the scriptures answer what you should do if you discover
He's got a little
that
bit
your
of the
religion is
whistle
not
tooth going
teaching
on.
the truth. It says, "Be on the watch
The
for
formula.
the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inside they are ravenous wolves. By their fruits you will recognize them. Now that's
Beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, and notice, the more you toot. And isn't that beautiful? Isn't that amazing?
what they produce in life. It says, never do people gather grapes from thorns or figs from thistles, do they? Likewise, every good tree produces fine fruit.
I think this is... Okay, so this is Sunday, this is Sunday service. And Sunday of the convention is the public address. Like, this is technically, I think this is taking place in California, this convention, which is about 3 hours behind me. So this is probably the address that's technically to the public. So this is, for all three people who showed up to the convention who were invited from the field ministry. This is for them.
Into the fire. Disregarded, cast aside. Really then, by their fruits,
Sacramenti.
You will recognize.
What's that? Is that also from Arrested Development?
So we let the Bible
Maybe he says she goes to Sacramenti.
You have to be ready to cast unacceptable beliefs that are contrary to the Bible.
Unacceptable beliefs. I wonder if he's going to talk about the gay stuff from that earlier talk that I showed on the alt-worldly YouTube channel earlier this year.
Religion that teaches falsehood.
Because I have released stuff on Jehovah's Witnesses this year. People just didn't watch it as much as the more modern political stuff.
So many things, especially in the field of morality, or better said, immorality, that the world is commending, approving, propagating it.
Good job on your immorality.
Of the media.
I do find myself often saying that.
That is wrong. Jehovah condemns such things. True religion produces good fruitage.
And is not the fruitage so very good? The fruitage of homophobia and transphobia and not saying anything one way or the other about apartheid, being totally neutral about that, and patriarchy subjugating women. Very, very delicious fruitage indeed.
John 13:35 with me, please. John 13, verse 35.
Yeah, suck my fruitage.
The scripture says, and this is speaking about those who practice true religion.
And this is so true.
All will know that you are my disciples if you have love among yourselves.
And what is more loving than shunning people and making children martyrs for refusing blood transfusions? The most loving thing I can think of.
And the bottom line of all of this is Jehovah God is searching for true worshipers. Isn't it interesting what God wants us to obtain? Read with me what the Bible says about.
And isn't it interesting they don't talk about Russia anymore, folks? But isn't that interesting that they will now talk about this Jeffrey Epstein? I feel like I've lost my William Allen font a little bit. I need to reflect on this. I need to practice off mic.
Whose will is that all sorts of people should be saved.
All sorts of people. That is unique to the New World Translation. Shit. I accidentally hit the back button, but not on the stream. You got to give me that.
Find happiness.
Most translations say that all people will be saved, but Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe that. They believe that all kinds of people will be saved. A variety of racial stereotypes, which is why all of the covers of their magazines are like somebody wearing a turban and somebody wearing a sombrero and an American wearing a business suit. It's like everybody is just kind of from every demographic. And that's what that's what Witnesses believe. But there are a lot of Christians who genuinely believe that all people will be saved. Like that guy who knocked on my door. I just remembered that. I still have that piece of literature.
Great happiness and satisfaction in their lives.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
With God.
Unless you're gay.
Will, free from the anxieties and woes of this old world.
Whoa.
So by comparing the witnesses' beliefs, standards of conduct, and organization with the Bible, Unbiased people can clearly see that today Jehovah's organization is just like it was back in the first century, the beliefs of the Christian congregation.
No, I mean, that quite literally is not true. It's not anything like that. You can read what they did in the first century churches in the Bible. They spoke in tongues and did healings and performed miracles. And they gave, personal testimony and prayer. And that was it. That was it. They talk about what the meetings are like in the Bible, and they aren't like Jehovah's Witness meetings. So that's isn't true at all. And also, they don't believe the thing that the first century Christians believe, which is that they were all going to heaven. And witnesses don't believe that either. So your bias. At some point, I feel like grammar nerds just let it slide that people will just say, that critic is biased. He's biased. And I think we just let that go, but I won't. People shouldn't say that. That was, I think you might call that a nitpick, to be quite frankly.
Why is it necessary to be so picky, to be so fussy?
Thank you. Okay, so this William Malenfant talk is actually something I probably haven't ever talked about on the channel, which is these public addresses for Jehovah's Witnesses are pretty interesting because it is one of the few talks where it is very openly a sales pitch for the group. Other churches are like this, but Jehovah's Witnesses are like this. We want you out there, if you're thinking about joining us, just look at what other churches are doing and then look at what Jehovah's Witnesses are doing. It's not subtle in the way that they are in the door-to-door ministry where they'll just be like, well, we just want to study the Bible and there's no application and there's no... this is, once you're there in person, most of the Sunday talks have something like this too. Most of the public Sunday talks are addressed to the public and will have a little call to action like this. And so that's why it's really important for people in the group to get you in a Kingdom Hall as soon as possible. They really stress that as soon as you can get them to go to a Kingdom Hall, the better, because then you're really in, you're really in a group. It is not just a Bible study with two other Jehovah's Witnesses in the comfort of your own home. It's all in, and the convention is a really big, overwhelming version of that.
That began at Pentecost.
Pentecost.
Yes. What a remarkable thing to make that beautiful
I think Pentecost is a really cool
Jehovah's
word too.
Today. And
Pentecost.
As you know, Jehovah's Witnesses speak of their organization or their religion as the truth. Now, we're not bragging. We're not trying to exalt ourselves over others. It just happens to be that's what it is. It's the truth.
Hey, it's not bragging if it's true. I'm the best live streamer in the world. It's not cocky of me to say that. It just happens to be correct.
So instead, we say these things because we have studied God's word. We know what it teaches. And we do
Pentecost
our utmost to follow
3680
the standard by
interior
which religion can
first
be judged.
and last
And
supper.
That standard is God's word, the Bible. That is the key standard.
God's word, the
Nothing
Bible,
men
is
have
right
done in
there
this
on
old
your
world.
phone.
But what Jehovah God has inspired men to do in writing the Holy Scriptures. And so in conclusion, we can tell all of you...
Hard to argue with that. It just
may
is true.
Jehovah
It just is.
God bless you in your search for the truth.
And by the way, so humble, never bragging about anything whatsoever. I imagine we would be hearing applause if this were properly mic'd. Wow, a really short person's giving a talk after this.
Thank you, Brother Malenfant, for that well-reasoned explanation of how to search for truth.
Okay, I will click away after this, but I want people to hear a couple of things here. First, this is a live event that's happening right now. This guy is doing a William Malenfant. No, he's doing a Stephen Lett impression. He is putting on the JW voice that we've just heard through JW Broadcasting, like when you are in these witness settings, you have to use this strange over-the-top way of speaking. Thank you, Brother Malenfant. How happy we are to be serving Jehovah. And you can also see he's got this outline here, right? You can see all these like bullet points and stuff. And this is because he's actually reading a script word for word. Like the chairman literally reads a script, and the entire convention program is scripted. Every talk is like, we weren't just hearing William Malenfant's own personal words there. Like, he was reading a script that was generated by the headquarters. So every time you're hearing a witness speak on camera, it is scripted.
How can you learn more about what the Bible teaches? If you would like to have Bible discussions free of charge,
free
at a time and place convenient to you,
if cost only means money,
please give
then it's
your
free.
Contact information to one of the attendants, or visit jw.org and fill out an online request for Bible study.
Wow. Okay. I wonder how many, if you're an ex-JW in here and you were an attendant at a convention, did you ever have any interested person give their contact information to you? I would say this. Like, I would say this in my public talks, because you're supposed to say that. It's kind of in the outline that there's this call to action. They don't call it that in the group. They call it, I mean, that's what it is, like in an MLM. And so you would say that. You'd be like, if you have any questions, ask an attendant. Like, no, that never, ever happened to me. It's just a thing we said. And they've said for like 150 years now, and as far as I know, it's never even happened one time. But okay, I think we're gonna get into our next segment here. I'm gonna take a little break, and we'll be right back, folks.
Wow. Listen. Says here, forego financial advantages to attend all 3 sessions here. So again, does God notice and appreciate your efforts? Well, perhaps not.
Okay, that was only a 47-second break, but we did it. Oh boy, our camera's a little low. And I like this because you can see that I put the unfortunate events books on the shelf, which I think was a good call. I'm trying to make this look like less of a man-child's room. I'm trying to be like, I guess if people are going to watch the channel, I should probably make this look a little bit more professional, but I don't know. I really... if I can do a little bit of rambling before, now I feel like it's too much just my head with no neck. I want people to know I do have a neck, okay? I'm not just a floating head. My eyes are up here, above my neck. Yeah, I gotta spruce up this room a little bit. I've got some ideas, but it's a long process. All right. Oh shit, I was gonna, hey, babe, if that little pamphlet thing is there, would you mind bringing that to me? If not, it's no big... Okay. Thank you. Oh, and also thank you on the neck, by the way. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Are you getting people to compliment your neck?
Not on purpose. Are you getting people to compliment your neck? Okay. So, I got a knock on my door on Friday night, was it? I think Friday night. And I look out the peephole. It is an older gentleman. He's got glasses, and he really looks like a Jehovah's Witness because he doesn't have the name tag. So I know he's not Mormon. He's got a beaten down Bible with a bunch of what look like tracts or JW contact cards inside. You know, it looks like your weathered door-to-door Bible, your Bible that's seen some action. It's on field duty. And And so I opened the door thinking this guy's going to be a witness, but he's not. He's kind of this universalist guy who says to me that he has been doing just door-to-door independently for like 20 or 30 years because he just believes, like, he would agree with the witnesses that that's what you're supposed to do. Because of course I told them, like, I had to answer the door because I'm a former door knocker myself. If people knock on my door, I let them give their spiel because I remember it sucks when you never get to give your full spiel as a witness, and it always feels good when someone really lets you say the whole thing. So I had a couple Mormon boys knock on my door like late last year. They were like teenagers, clearly doing whatever little they have to kind of put their time in as door-to-door knockers, and then they do their mission, I think. I should recommend Iron Sharpens Iron. Like, there's this great show you would love. This guy, his name was John, I believe. But yeah, he was just in this random church. His son is a pastor there, he said, and he's a universalist. So I was asking him stuff, but he was definitely fully into Jesus. And I was like, oh, so you believe that, like, everybody will attain to repentance eventually? Right. So I have also thought about this. But I was the one who introduced the term universalism to him because he was trying to describe what he believes. And he was like, yeah, basically like that. And so I was like, oh, wow, maybe this is like a progressive guy. Well, he starts bringing up out of nowhere, maybe because I mentioned Jehovah's Witnesses, he's like, well, all religions, I obviously think that Christ is where the truth is, and I think they'll be reconciled to Christ after they die. They'll go to heaven, and they'll get to really see what Jesus is like. I mean, some religions are worse than others. I mean, like with Israel and Gaza, obviously Hamas, and he basically starts going on this genocidal rant and starts saying, like, well, I think that really the only way that Israel's got a way out of this is to finish the job, and really all these Arabs are, like, he was just flat out saying that, like, Muslims deserve to die. It was totally crazy. It took a totally crazy turn, and that was where I took the opportunity to end the conversation. I went back inside, and Christina was like, were you arguing with this guy about Israel and Gaza? I was like, he brought it up. It wasn't me. But he left me with a little tract that I really think he probably made, like, in Microsoft Word with some clip art. Do you know that the goodness of God leadeth thee to repentance? I didn't know that. So I haven't read this. It's not very long. I felt like I could save this for the stream. I've got a video that I recorded about, I got like a cult book in our mailbox one time, and I recorded a video like a year ago and just haven't edited it. Anyway, a change of heart that results in a change of actions, i.e. repentance. So the first little section is just, I mean, that's kind of confusing. I don't really know what that means. A change of heart about sin. A change of heart about Jesus. Why is he starting all these with a change of heart? But it's kind of interesting. It's like the moral of it, unlike Jehovah's Witnesses, like, there's not even the address of a church on this. Like, he didn't give me any contact information for the church. He's just like, say this prayer. Just like, say this prayer and you'll be saved. So I don't know. I felt a little sad for that guy. A lot sad. Thank you. I have mixed feelings about these glasses, but, I'm kind of stuck between two options I don't really love right now because one of the cats stole the glasses I like, and we don't have to talk about it. It's a conversation stopper. It was just like, that one's not in the BE book, I don't think, or the reasoning book. What is it with these people thinking their little tracks are like magical talismans that are going to make people have this Jesus epiphany? I don't know. And I would think this as a witness even, because we would drive by, there's this sign that's kind of infamous to people who live in Ohio. It's out in London. and it's out in the cornfields, and it just says, "Hell is real." I think it came down recently, but that sign was up for like 20 years. The "Hell is real" sign. I always see like people posting about it on like the Ohio or Columbus subreddits. And it was like black background, red letters, "Hell is real." And I would always, like, I would joke with my family about it because we would see it on the way out to the JW Assembly Hall. Like, who are these people that are like about to go sin? And then they drive by that sign and they're like, "Whoa, I didn't know hell is real." Let me like veer their car off the road. But why did I not then think, wait, then why is what we're doing is not that different? I think that you convince yourself that it's different because you feel like you're having a Socratic dialogue with someone, but you're not. Ohio is real. That has yet to be proven. The "Hell is real" sign is real, but so far I'm mostly hearing these days that we're for memes. No, I think that we're just gonna, before we leave JW Broadcasting, it occurs to me, I do want to see this music video because it looks kind of crazy. And then we're going to watch some very interesting leaked cult videos of another cult entirely. Let's hear what the vibe is like first. I sped it up a little bit. When you're young. Okay, so this is just like a filter on Canva. I mean, I'm 99% sure that this is just any photo or video editor just has a pre-existing filter that does this sort of gauzy comic book look. Like, I could definitely do it just with one of the pre-settings on DaVinci Resolve. It's hard to find your way. Okay, but they've got some green screen. They're trying to do like a live-action Spider-Verse thing. Every day. Wait. I should pay attention to the lyrics. I should, but the thing that's happening on screen is so interesting. Love where to put your trust. It's not easy to find your place, but I know how I feel that Jehovah is real. I don't know about that. You know what's sad is that, no, I think that, we know they have a department dedicated to writing these songs, and that just is even sadder. That, as an aspiring writer myself, I would like to think I could write something better than ChatGPT, but Watchtower every day proves that, maybe not. I think that ChatGPT would be an improvement. I will succeed if I follow his lead. I will say this. I think that AI music is pretty interesting. For some reason, it doesn't bother me the way it bothers me with other things. Now, what I mean by that is like the parody stuff that I hear. Not trying to pass off like a real band. Like, not weird plagiarism, clickbait stuff, but the kind of like comedy music I've heard of people, doing like a 50s doo-wop band, but they're singing about boobs, and it like totally sounds real, like with the recording quality and everything. I find it kind of fascinating. Or like people who have redone raps, but like with SpongeBob voices. All that stuff is really crazy. Hey, is me talking about rapping SpongeBob's worthy of PLN 50? I don't know, but thank you so much. Relaxation time. Like Homer Simpson singing Creep. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that stuff is really fascinating. But musicians are always the first to figure out these, like, how to use, computers in an interesting way artistically, for instance. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's actually true, but I'm going to back off that hard. Okay, objectively, this is disgusting. This is horrible propaganda. It's acknowledging that JW kids have to choose between going to college and therefore having enough money to go shopping versus choosing a life of subservience and poverty to a group that can only promise you that Armageddon's coming and will kill all the people who do this. But, you can never quite be sure. So really hope that this delusion thing works out, or go to college is the choice. I hate AI in most instances. I mean, the thing I hate about what's happening with AI now is that people are using it as a shortcut to do things that we don't need shortcuts for. Like, it would be great if inventors invented shit that, like, could wash your clothes in 5 minutes instead of 20 minutes, or like a better, more just like a better vacuum cleaner that could magically vacuum your carpet in 5 seconds. Like, those are the kind of inventions that interest me. What does not interest me is an invention that is like you punch in a command and it can give you fan fiction in 5 seconds or a research paper. Like, I just don't. It feels like people using AI for research. I'm like, eh. But the problem is that, at least for like where Google is concerned, their AI search stuff is so much better than their current shitty search stuff. I don't know. That's a tangent. The question is, do I play the tangent thing?
You know, I do the weave. You know what the weave is?
Yeah, we just did a little bit of a weave. I actually kind of think this song's a banger. Yeah, I mean, this is a depressing life. It is literally like, join an MLM and dedicate your life to that, or go to school. And I'm not one of these people that says that you've like got to go to college. I mean, obviously, I barely went to college. I don't have a college degree in anything. But I think people should have the choice to do that. And also, I wish I would have. Like, the only reason why I chose the path I did is because I was a witness and wasn't able to pursue the careers that I actually wanted to do. One thing that I think is kind of valuable about this little image right here is they don't often acknowledge in their videos that you have to fill out this kind of legalistic form to be a pioneer. And Watchtower tries to be really shifty with people being members. Like, their Elder's Manual has gotten rid of the word member, and they don't refer to members of congregations anymore. I don't really know what rhetorical trickery they're trying to pull, but it seems like they want to at least obfuscate, like, how churchy they are. Like, they want a lot of plausible deniability so that if a witness does something bad, it doesn't come back to bite world headquarters, and just that one Jehovah's Witness is responsible for it. And so they'll kind of try and argue that individual Jehovah's Witnesses are just acting of their own free will, and that it's not. I don't know. So anytime you can this image of them, like, it's very Severance-y, filling out these like forms so that they can qualify to be a pioneer, so that they can qualify to do volunteer, even more volunteer labor for the group. It's ridiculous. Yes. Also, I mean, that's the main thing with AI, is that it is just like, when I imagine the amount of energy that those things consume is so fucking insane. Like, they're so absurdly bad for the planet. It is literally like the world engines in Man of Steel. There's like gravity weapons that just look like, and they're just like mining the earth for resources. Like, that's what those fucking AI, like, it requires so much power to do absolute bullshit to make this, to make this kind of shit. I don't think this is AI, sadly. I think this is just them trying their best. I'll keep looking forward to a life that never ends. A complete fantasy. A lot of Indiana Jones villains met their downfall looking for a life that never ends. That's my advice to her. The quest for immortality is folly. All right, I'm looking up the Project 2025 videos. Now, okay. And every time I pull up YouTube for the stream, I'm reminded that The Line also streams on Sunday. And, you know, the fact that you're here, that means that you're choosing to be here instead of other places that you could be instead. So I appreciate that, because if I wasn't doing this, I would probably watch The Line. But, you know, don't. They're doing fine. More like The Fine. More like the watch me instead. And also, it's better when you can watch it later and skip through the annoying callers and the conversations that don't go anywhere and get to the juicy stuff. Okay. What am I trying to find? Project 2025. Training videos. Okay, so... Oh my god. Queen of Flatulence says, I never believed in the paradise, to be honest. I have a hard time figuring out, like, did I believe this? I think I really, really wanted to. Like, I really acted as if the see yourself in a world that is new, the way that they encourage you to use your imagination, I definitely did that. And if that's believing in something, then I did. Yeah, I try not to be doomer about, like, oh, there's no, like, we're totally screwed with climate change, and oh, we're all going to die, like, there's no point. And, like, no, that's really narrow thinking. Like, right now, some things may seem hopeless, or, like, maybe we've passed certain benchmarks that we can't get back, but any amount of progress we're able to make is good. Like, any amount of slowing that we're able to do of the damage is good, and any technological advancements and scientific advancements we're able to make that allow us to formulate new solutions to the problem is good too. Like, there may be innovations that haven't even happened yet. People have really limited imaginations when it comes to solving the world's problems, but we have so much imagination when it comes to all the things that could totally doom us. But yeah, so use your imagination, because you know who does do that is Christian nationalists. They have vividly imagined the moment that we are in right now for a very long time. The authoritarian takeover of the United States with the Trump administration was in writing. It was their plan. And last year, ProPublica leaked internal training videos for Project 2025. There are more. I will have to check out. There was a report by, I think, like, the Mueller, she wrote ladies had some exclusive. That sounded really condescending. They broke a story. They seem totally great. I don't have any problems with them. They broke some story about like internal DOJ training videos related to Project 2025, and I saw her posting on Blue Sky or something asking, like, trying to get leaked stuff, because they're still making training videos like this. So we've got whatever these are. We watched this first one, and the only thing that I wanted to get across to people, like, because that was the episode I had to record with the really crappy mic. The thing that I found pretty surprising about it is how upfront they are about their intent to infiltrate all institutions. I mean, that is what Project 2025 is all about, but also their intent to control language. So let's watch this part here before we move on to part 2.
Marxism became socialism, then democratic socialism, and is now represented by the terms social justice and equity. This is perhaps the most scary of all.
Katie, what brings to mind is the quote, "He who controls the language rules the world." It's attributed to Joseph Stalin and other tyrants. And George Orwell stated, "He who controls language controls culture." Even more, Hitler and others lived by the creed. If you repeat a lie often enough, people will believe it. Without doubt, it's true. Language is a powerful and often controlling tool.
Okay, so that's what they're accusing everyone else of doing, right? They're saying that's what the radical left Marxist liberal Democrats are doing. They're incomprehensible. I mean, just genuinely, everybody to the left of Marjorie Taylor Greene is a problem for these people. Okay, that's the left. It doesn't mean anything. They just, anybody who has a problem with Christian nationalism, they'll dump them in with the left. And so that's what they're accusing the left of doing. But what that allows them to do, in their eyes, is to take control of language back. So they go through in this first training video, like, you're going to see these woke terms, and some of it's like related to gender, but a lot of it's just things related to abortion or related to diversity. I guess some of it didn't even really read as politically correct term to me, but they're very open about the fact that they're going to do these mass deportations of illegals, as they say. And so they have this section of the video where they're talking about, well, see how the left humanizes these illegal criminals, these aliens? They don't like us to say aliens because they think that is too mean, but that's them being Orwellian. And so what we need to do is go back to calling immigrants illegals and aliens and scary boogeymen, because that will undo the Hitler stuff that the left is doing. So it's, long words bad, basically. But it's really just, we're going to replace liberal buzzwords with MAGA buzzwords. That's really all it is. They humanize these humans. I mean, they hate that. They hate humanizing humans. And so that's what this first video was. And what struck me is they have the Fundy voice. That's what some people like, because the Jehovah's Witness voice, I do think is kind of distinct, but all fundamental Christians, it's been noted by ex-evangelicals, do have this weird stilted way of talking. And I think that there's a real similarity between this and the Iron Sharpens Iron video. Okay, so this is, we'll just read their description. ProPublica and Documented obtained videos from the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025 that are intended to train political appointees for the next conservative administration. So all of the political appointees of this administration have also watched these videos. And normally, government training videos are very boring, but we're in uncharted waters. And I want to see what kind of stuff they're saying. I find it interesting. The Heritage Foundation is funded in part by Peter Thiel, one of the richest men in the world who has an insane amount of control over our country's data and weapon systems and satellites and everything. So all of the most powerful people in the world contributed to this project. And so it seems like we should know what they're training their members to do. They're also very openly Christian in the first video. Like, the Heritage Foundation is Christian. It is a Christian-y conservative project to undo the horrors of liberalism and the Warren Court and all that. You know, to upend all of the civil rights progress that have happened since the 60s, and really since women got the vote, and really since before that, since the founding.
I'm Matthew Spaulding, Vice President of Hillsdale College.
That was an aggressive
I'm at our
hello.
Washington, D.C.
I want to hear it again, quite frankly,
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Matthew Spaulding, Vice President of Hillsdale College.
What?
I'm at our Washington, D.C. campus, where I'm also the Dean of the Stephen Amy Van Andel Graduate School of Government. I'd like to speak to you today about our common purpose.
Is he a good dean?
About...
Ooh, he did what I did earlier. He kind of smoothly put on his too small for him round glasses, just like I have.
America's common purpose.
Oh, I don't know. Those are a little different. Those are like borderline steampunk.
Things that are inherently American.
Okay.
And they're at the heart of American conservatism.
We're about to hear things that are at the heart of American conservatism. Oh, yeah, they have like an intro theme song.
In the eyes of many in the world, this...
I guess we should maybe fast forward so we don't get a copyright thingy. But my brain can't handle things.
Every 4-year ceremony we accept as normal is nothing less than a miracle.
Today is the concrete expression of a stunning fact. these 200 years since our government began.
Hillsdale is a very right-wing Christian college.
In America, we understand that a nation is only living as long as it is striving.
We face a hostile ideology, ruthless in purpose and...
Oh yeah, I mean, that's the thing that they have to stamp out empathy. That's why they have to control language and control art and control comedy. They say, on one hand, they say legalize comedy, and on the other hand, they literally cancel the comedians' TV shows.
This great nation will endure as it has endured.
Speaking of AI fucking slop, this sucks.
Forward together with courage.
Stop it. I mean, I'm not the world's best editor or anything, but I could have cooked them up something better than that.
There are many things upon which we disagree.
Oh.
Concerning domestic policy, foreign policy, economic policy. Those disagreements are important, and it's important that we discuss and deliberate and resolve those disagreements.
Through violence.
But those disagreements should not blind
what he's
us
saying.
to things we hold in common.
YouTube.
The more important and higher aspects of America's purpose, but also the things we wish to conserve. Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton famously disagreed on just about everything you can imagine, especially when it came to important national policies. But they agreed deeply on the most fundamental questions about the rights of man grounded in nature, about the essence of the rule of law and constitutional government.
Right off the bat, this conservative project disagrees then, because fundamental to the project is dismantling the rule of law in the country. I mean, they eliminated due process. They have rendered the court system like this totally irrelevant institution. The law is dead in this country. They specifically are dismantling laws because the foundation of the country was to never allow someone like Donald Trump to happen. Like to never allow one person to have more control over the other branches of government and become another King George. Like they wanted a tyranny-proof constitution. So I just find that interesting because it's like, in that introductory thing, they're playing like, it's a miracle. We have this event every 4 years called democracy, the peaceful transfer of power and all that. But, you know, they don't believe in that. The violent take it by force and so forth.
Understand. Because those things, in addition to various policy matters we as conservatives hold to be true, but those things, the more fundamental things, are the essence, the foundation of conservatism. So I'm not going to talk about conservatism as much as that we wish to conserve.
Okay.
Those are the principles that are our inheritance.
How about this? Stop talking about what you're going to talk about and just talk about
those are the principles growing out of the Greeks and the Romans, informed by Athens and Jerusalem, going through British constitutionalism, that culminate in America. So as we deliberate and discuss the policy questions that we need to determine.
That's kind of interesting. One of the points I'm trying to make in this like tech theocracy video I'm making, like Sam Alito, for instance, and a lot of these conservatives in the Heritage Foundation, they're also a part of these weird like dynastic orders where they cosplay as royalists. It's really strange. And so it's kind of recalling a time before the founding of America, like when there was an actual monarchy. And that's what they're kind of role-playing all the time. And in fact, in his decision for Roe, or in an early leaked draft version of his opinion for Roe, Sam Alito referenced a 17th century witch doctor who didn't believe in marital rape, and that was like one of his sources in his decision. Like, so a lot of these people, like your Mike Johnson types, they are pretty open about going to a period of time basically before the founding of America. Like, they really, on a fundamental level, they just believe that they're anointed by God to make the Constitution say whatever they want it to say. Like, it was useful to get them to this moment, but now they can just interpret it like the Bible and therefore make it say anything. And so it exactly like, and this was kind of incredible that the witnesses do this too, by the way. First of all, with making it seem like their movement is this inevitable result of a chain in history, when of course it wasn't. It was a movement that started in the late 1800s. And Stroud 9 says, of course, they wouldn't discuss how conservatism works. They'll just make empty claims and paint themselves as the infallible good guys, kind of like the GP, almost like a cult. Yeah, like the things that they refuse to define, it's like William Allenfant just being like, it's just true. It's not bragging if it's just true. It's like we're going to take it for granted that conservatism is the truth, but we're also not going to define it, because really what they believe is that the truth is whatever the people at the top say. They just want to be in charge, and they want to be able to pivot on a dime. They don't want to be beholden to past statements. I mean, the Supreme Court doesn't want in recent cases. Where did it go? Weird. Had a weird little glitch on my end of StreamYard. This
It is
one might be
important
boring.
to keep in
Let's see.
mind the larger objective,
What is
which
the larger
is to recover, to restore, to conserve, and to save our country.
To save our country. So built into that is I don't know, this kind of doom and gloom, like this apocalyptic narrative is built into it, because apparently for conservatism we have to save our country. Now he's not necessarily wrong, because I think conservatism is kind of based in fear in a certain way, and I don't even mean that in a demeaning way, like a fear of change. That's not always totally unhealthy. And you could twist that into being like, well, we want to conserve this because we want to save it from the thing we're afraid of it turning into. But yeah, these people feel like our country is lost.
Every nation derives
They gotta
some
bring it
meaning
back
from underlying ideas, from its ethnic background, its character, common religion, a shared history. But this
This guy
country
talking about ethnic.
is actually different. It was founded at a particular time, in a particular place, by a particular people.
White people.
And it is that rich heritage of ideas, especially those stated in our core fundamental documents, that define us still as a nation and as a people.
I mean, did you see the pictures that they chose? There's not a single person of color in any of those pictures. Like there's no black or brown or indigenous people in those pictures, which is crazy because of course they were really crucial to the founding of America and how it was built. But he was pretty clear, a certain kind of people. Well, now I'm just realizing, I mean, this is like the fucking, oh shit. Oh, weird. Okay, let me refresh. My bad. Are we hearing things? Let me know where I left off. Bristol let the term founded. White people founded nothing. Are we hearing things? Test 1, 2, 3. I guess I should be able to pull it up on YouTube. Oh, okay, it's back. Yeah, okay. I think we're good. Just not the video. Okay, yeah. So I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but he's being very clear that they think that a key part of what America should be is what it looked like at the time. You know, like they want America to mean it should be exactly like it was when it was founded racially.
It was founded at a particular time, in a particular place, by a particular people.
By a particular people.
And it is that rich heritage of
White
ideas,
people,
especially those stated in our core fundamental documents, that define us still as a nation and as a people. America was revolutionary, but not in the way we normally think of that word, especially if we have in mind the French Revolution or the communist revolutions, Russia or Cuba.
The bad ones
It was
that we don't
revolutionary
like.
in the sense of ideas. It was in the minds and the hearts of the people, John Adams once wrote. That was the source of the real American Revolution.
He's not totally wrong about this. I mean, the American Revolution was kind of headed by the middle class in a lot of ways, and it was not. It was very much not like the Revolution, like the French Revolution or the Haitian Revolution or whatever. But generally, no, scratch that. I think he's going back to what they were saying in the first video about language and like what conservatives talk about all the time now, like the woke mind virus. Like they really want to, they believe in that thing that politics is downstream of culture, and so they have to change culture, which is very fascist. I mean, that was what Hitler did. I'm reading this book right now, so this is like front of mind. Because of Jacob Geller's amazing new video on Nuremberg. It's so good. He referenced this book, Hitler's People, and so I got it. It's really good. One thing I kind of forgot about is how quickly they co-opted like art in film and replaced art in museums that they thought was too confusing. Like they thought that modern art was too confused. Like Hitler, kind of like those Daily Wire guys who are all like failed Hollywood people. He was a failed artist. He really saw himself as an artist for a really long time, and kept on not making it into prestigious schools, and really found himself when he signed up for the war. So a lot of it comes from jealousy and in not understanding pop culture, and not understanding art, and not understanding empathy, because I think art springs from empathy. You can see how much it kills Elon Musk that he's not perceived as funny, like how important it is to him to be perceived as funny. Like he wants to be hilarious, which is weird. Like Peter Thiel is not like that. He like his ego goes in a different direction. But for Elon Musk, he really wants to be funny, and he's willing to do a lot of things to feed that delusion. And Trump's very similar. Like he definitely does want to be funny, but he also just wants to be entertaining at all times. He wants to be the center of attention. It's people with doomsday fantasies being more worried about identity and belonging than what's morally or ethically right or wrong. That's sycophancy. Yeah. Very, very well said. They fear becoming irrelevant.
It was about the ideas upon which a nation was to be established. Ideas that are applicable to all men in all times, as Abraham Lincoln once said. And they proclaimed that principle rather than will was to be the ultimate ground of government. It was at a particular time in history that these universal ideas became the foundation of a particular system of government and a particular political culture. And that revolution culminated not in the guillotine, but in constitutional government.
Idiot.
A government that is long endured. Those ideas, which we want to discuss briefly, are found in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Those ideas still define
independence from tyranny, by the way. Like, they wanted independence from monarchy. They wanted to be able to establish a new form of government. They wanted a democratic republic instead of what these guys want now. Like, it's really strange. It's kind of not clear to me if they do want dictatorship in the way that like Hungary or El Salvador does, like or Israel does. I don't know that. I genuinely don't know that. Like, that's clearly what Trump wants. There is certainly like a dictatorial string, but I think the kind of ideological Heritage Foundation people like J.D. Vance, they do kind of seem to believe in this. What if we go back to the 3/5 proclamation? Like, what if we go back to black people have less rights than white people, and women have fewer rights than men, and we go back to having an actual like patriarchal hierarchy in that way. And so, but that's still allowed for elections, right? Like even in the age of robber barons and stuff. And so it actually isn't totally clear to me. But what I do think that they will do is rig the elections because they don't want another Roosevelt or like OBJ type person to come along. Anyway, I tell you what, I tend to think that religion isn't a thing that you can get rid of. Like that's a big ideological difference I have with a lot of communists is that some strings of communism and anarchism are like really once you outlaw religion to a degree, which I understand, I certainly sympathize with. I'm pretty anti-religion, well, at least for myself. Like I'm an atheist and I'm not religious, but I think that it's futile. I think that it goes against my sense of freedom, but it also, I think, is like trying to outlaw violence or something. Like people start religions all the time, and defining what a religion is very difficult. I think you have to build a society where you can live with it. And that is the thing that the Heritage Foundation Christian Nationalist Project, like that's where it started to differ from classical Republicans. Is there was an understanding that all religions had to be equal in order for democracy to function. But a long time ago, the religious elements of the Republican Party started to take over and say, no, we don't want to be treated as equals. Because we think that we're right and we're superior and we have the true religion, and atheism is just as bad as Islam anyway. So we just have to make this a Christian nation again. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think they almost talk openly about like democracy being over. They almost are open about it.
In many parts of our
They certainly
media,
emphasize
culture.
the republic
And they define
part.
us because our system
But what do
points
they think
backward,
republic means?
not merely historically backward, but as a practical matter. Our first law is our highest law, the Constitution. And our system, in principle, is built upon the foundations of the Declaration of Independence. Those ideas, that Constitution, still are beacons for everyone in the world.
Like
they're still warnings for
men are
despots
created equal
around the
and
world.
with an inalienable right to
And they are still the brightest lights,
health and happiness and
the
shit.
greatest inspiration
My gummy is kicking in
for
so
freedom and liberty in the world.
I can't
especially
recite the
here at home.
fucking preamble right now.
Although much of our history begins earlier, we can define the American founding period as encompassing two pivotal moments. One is between 1775, the opening, Battle of Lexington, and the Treaty of Paris in 1783, the American Revolution. And the other is after the Revolution, in 1785, when it starts permanently getting a movement towards the Constitution.
Hey. This would require me to be in way more of a research mode to like unpack what they're trying to get at here. Between 1775, Battle of these are two pivotal periods.
And then perhaps 1797, the constitutional period at the end of Washington's first administration. And
Boy,
those
this is
two
really
periods
boring, huh? This is
are
really
dominated
dry.
by two monumental documents.
Let's see. I'm
and
going
a
to skip
fundamental
forward.
ground for it to proceed. In addition to those more fundamental principles, we would also add a bedrock concept, which is unstated in many ways, but seen throughout everything growing out of the American Revolution and in our Constitution, which is the rule of law.
Rule of law.
Indeed, the development of the rule of law through history, through British constitutionalism into the American founding, is one of the greatest accomplishments of Western civilization.
Isn't it interesting that they go back to British constitutionalism? Like, there is a strange royalist streak within this movement. I don't get it.
One need only read history, or perhaps read Shakespeare, to see that throughout much of that history, there wasn't the rule of law. Indeed, the person who had the most power.
The witnesses do it
was the one
too.
who
This is a
determined
Bible
what the law
principle.
was.
And if something's a principle, that means it's like, hey, buddy, hey. Hi, buddy. Oh. I mean, He's being a companion. And it is kind of nice that he hopped up here because it gives us a chance to celebrate our spiritual paradise.
Our spiritual paradise is a place that has many harmless animals.
Now, what do we mean by this?
I don't know what we mean by that.
Americans, through their colonial experience, had learned to rule themselves under British constitutionalism. And through that experience of taxation and increasing despotism, had the experience to continue to rule themselves and took that as a fundamental element
yes, principle
of
equals
what their
good.
founding was meant to
An
accomplish.
absolute good.
They had many experiments to do so. In states, there were numerous failures and great successes. Many states were riven by questions of faction and disagreement. They weren't protecting rights. The Articles of Confederation, passed during the American Revolution, were in many ways a great accomplishment, but also a great failure in what they were unable to do in terms of creating a nation. And all this led to the Great Constitutional Convention in the spring and summer and
Where we
fall of
created the
1787.
federal
We created the
government.
American Constitution. That Constitution is a great example, perhaps the greatest example of constitutionalism in Western civilization. And they created what is today the longest national constitution still in use. It's laid out.
Was he like getting emotional or just forgetting his lines? He started like slowing down in a way where I'm like, oh, is he getting like sniffly?
4 parts and articles creating 3 branches of government: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, starting with the most democratic to the least, beginning with the lawmaking branch. And each 3 of those branches begins with a vesting clause, which is to say the Constitution is one of delegated powers. They're delegated precisely because the Declaration has first established the sovereignty of the people. The people possess rights, not the government. Indeed, according
well, I mean, that's not true. I mean, the people do have rights, but thereby the government has rights because it's a representative government. So the representatives have a right to do certain things. And the president, I mean, they believe that the president has rights. And he works for the government. I don't know. It's kind of a weird
American
semantic
understanding
argument.
of politics,
Maybe I'm just being
no government, federal
gummied.
government, state governments, the dog catcher, possess rights at all. They only have certain powers. And those are laid out very carefully in our American Constitution.
What?
The federal government, state governments, the dog catcher, possess rights at all. They only have certain powers. And those are laid out very carefully in our
That, I guess, gives them an ability to abolish this government because they're like, well, the only people that have any power is us, so we can just build a new government. Which, I mean, I don't disagree. I think if a system doesn't work, then you should build a different system. I guess I just disagree with how they're going about reforming our
American
system.
constitutional system. Enumerate,
Not how I would do
especially
it.
the first article concerning the legislature, and then less so, but significantly, concerning the executive and judiciary. The Constitution also includes a Bill of Rights, which importantly, especially in the First and Second Amendments, protect our most fundamental freedoms. Religious liberty.
Right. Because, I mean, all of what he's saying is nonsense because at the end of the day, they just want to defend or they want to define what is a person. Like, they want to be able to define what is a person. Because if they can define that, then those who are not people don't deserve rights. I mean, the original Constitution said that black people were not full people. And so if they are able to define that and redefine what it means to be a human, I mean, that's what fascism is it's this way of redefining what it means to be a person and making these in-groups and out-groups and making it okay to start dominating your fellow human beings and treating them like they're less than human. Yeah. Didn't Ethan Klein get upset that Hassan said something about a dog catcher? That I'll fully acknowledge is the gummy. I don't know. I was watching some video
The
today
right to
about
speech,
Ethan Klein.
free speech and free
Made me
press.
remember how much
rights
that
to
guy
assembly and
sucks.
petition, the first, and the second,
Really
the
a
right
sad
to bear
guy.
arms. Those were understood to be fundamental rights necessary to protect in Republican government. Today, we often
of course,
see the Bill of Rights
right to
as
bear
the
arms.
Constitution. That's especially how the Supreme Court often looks at it.
It's just like it's so incoherent that what was considered like what our modern guns would have been totally incomprehensible to the people that wrote the Constitution. They just were completely different in every way. There's no comparison. And so it's like, do you believe in progress or not? Like, the right to bear arms means, like, no matter, like, any kind of guns at all? Like, should people be able to own tanks and Tommy guns and shit? I don't know. Those are the two kinds of guns that I am aware of. Not a big gun guy.
But it's important to understand that they were amendments, additions to the body of the Constitution itself.
We do not lack most
of all
of
this
these.
is a decentralized structure of a strong and energetic but limited federal government. A government that allows...
Strong and energetic, but limited. They can make a lot of noise, but at the end of the day, Congress can't really do anything. They're kind of ceremonial.
For a decentralization of power into the states and to local government, and because of local government, self-government. This system of governing, of limited powers at the top, of more powers at the state level, and as many...
They very clearly don't want less power at the top.
Actually not controlled by politics, but allowed to be governed by self-governing individuals, is what creates the essence of American democracy.
What?
The institutions of civil society.
You couldn't even, like, complete that sentence. That didn't make any sense.
Churches, schoolrooms, families. Those are the most important political institutions in our system.
So white. Church, one of the most important institutions. See, that I hate. Like, if you're... To build a democracy, you can't have the church be an institution. It just can't be. Like, because the thing about religion is, if your religion teaches that you should take over the government, then that's kind of incompatible with democracy. So there have to be checks and balances on religion too. But if you are insane and think that you're just anointed by God to do whatever the fuck you want, and anybody who tries to tell you differently is getting in God's way, then you're kind of at odds with the democratic project.
Those are the ones that play the most important role in shaping our characters and shaping ourselves to be good, self-governing citizens. The Constitution, the federal Constitution,
Yeah,
and
this
the state
guy's
constitutions
like
create a
less
framework
engaging Dennis
by which we
Prager.
can govern ourselves. They are meant to secure the rights of the Declaration of Independence. They are meant to uphold the powers defined
Dennis
in the
Prager, Mitch
documents,
McConnell incest,
especially
baby.
those that are delegated to the federal Constitution
said it,
and
incest.
limited at the federal level.
Those guys are related.
And they're meant to provide liberty for ourselves and our posterity. This conception of government, these principles, was the American consensus, despite a history of great disagreements. And indeed, the one...
Nobody... Oh, God. Okay, I think we can move the fuck on from this. Let's just click around a little bit. I'm glad we watched that, but dear God, is it boring. This looks like an interesting conversation. Wow, there's so many. Okay, yeah, we definitely...
Hi, my name's Hugh Fike. I'm the current director of government...
Hi, my name is Hugh Fike.
Relations at the Conservative Partnership Institute.
Their hellos are very aggressive. That last guy had a really confrontational hello as well. Like, hello, piece of shit. Like, chill out.
Hi, my name's Hugh Fike. I'm the current director of government relations at the Conservative Partnership Institute.
Huge
and I worked in the
asshole.
Office of Management and Budget and the Executive Office of the President doing legislative affairs on the House side. And I'm joined by my friend and former colleague, James Braid.
Hi, I'm James. I've worked in...
He's like ducking down, like his head's going to hit the ceiling, but, you know, it's like a 20-foot ceiling.
various senior roles on Capitol Hill. I worked with Hugh in the administration and legislative...
Yeah, they've got the Betsy Ross flag with the 13 colonies instead of the 50 states, right?
Affairs at the Office
That's kind of
Management and
interesting.
Budget, specifically handling appropriations. Currently, I serve as the legislative director for Senator J.D. Vance.
And we're here to talk about congressional relations with the administration. Essentially, it's going to be a legislative affairs 101.
Oh.
In the eyes of many in the world.
No.
3, you ultimately need to know what the issues that the members care about.
3 marching orders for executive branch legislative affairs. Develop staff relations. Develop principal relationships. Know the members' issues. The role of the executive branch legislative affairs is to influence the operation of the machine that is Capitol Hill and to ensure the president's agenda is considered as favorably as possible. Yeah, so make sure the president looks good at all times. Culty.
Be left with the tools, or you're not going to have the lists of things that you're going to absolutely need. So one of your first priorities is to obviously work with the administration to figure out what the priorities of the agency or the part of the administration you're in, but then start developing lists of members that include staff members.
This set is so weird. It's like, what is this? It's kind of like Podcast Bro meets Comedy Bang Bang TV show.
For the equities or the things that are necessarily going to be important to your day-to-day job. And so what you want to do is immediately start creating lists of the committees on Capitol Hill, both on the House and the Senate, that are going to be important.
He does. He belongs in those paintings we're looking at.
Over your agency's areas. Then you need to start doing individual.
Oh, a joke that was lost to the audio fuck up earlier was there was a painting that they showed in that last video we were watching that was like the colonizers versus Native Americans, and it looks like the thing that they have in Pawnee in Parks and Recreation. It looks like the crazy like genocidal massacre thing, and they were just unironically showing
meetings with
that.
them, putting a face to a name. That's really important. And then you need to have make sure you have the right contact information. These are sometimes very quick moving decisions, and they are quick moving in that you need to be able to directly communicate with those people, not just via email, but be able to pick up the phone and call people because things.
Wow. They've got Reagan, and does that say Tucker? It's too pixely to tell. And 1776.
Move very quickly. And in the administration, I found that you don't always have the most amount.
Saving Freedom by Jim DeWitt. That's like a Heritage Foundation guy, I think.
Of time to be able to prep or give members or their staff heads up, but you need to do that right after the thing is announced.
Pro-life?
So
or
that's
persuasive pro-life.
Relationships. Talk to me a little bit about what it means to have good principal member relationships, and that you are directly engaging with the members that are either.
This guy doesn't look like he has a. What kind of relationship is he talking about?
Principal member relationships.
Principled relationship?
You are directly engaging with the members that are either on the committee or important to your principal.
One of the things I would say...
What's this guy's relationship with this coffee? Has he had like 90 cups of it?
That is a little bit of a surprise, I think, to people who encounter Congress for the first time.
This guy's kind of giving Bobby Bacala.
Is that each individual Hill office is a small business unto itself. They have different...
Each individual field office is a small business? We're talking about the government.
Relationships between staff, and they have different decision-making structures. And those structures are entirely idiosyncratic. You can probably take a guess that the chief of staff is going to be an important decision-maker, but often, a legislative assistant might be the key decision-making person in the area.
Okay, whatever. It seems kind of boring. In legislative affairs, you are trying to find a champion to not only support the administration's priorities when the decision is in front of them, but to proactively advocate and advance these priorities. Have a running list of major priorities for each member. Find a way to highlight how the agency's work is direct. I don't get it.
That are delegated.
Hey, what? No. This guy looks different. I want a different vibe. I want a video with a different vibe. Because they're all a little different.
That you deserve to win that election period
Whoa.
for very long.
Okay, yeah. This is a different vibe.
You don't have that honeymoon period for very long. Maybe 100 days, and you have to execute and prove that you deserve to win that election by fulfilling the promises to the American people.
In the eyes of many in the world.
Oh my God. Who mixed the sound? Me? Little joke about how I am bad at that. Why your service matters. How presidential appointees at all levels can impact policy by being subservient suck-ups and also just like beating the gong for like.
Welcome to our Project 2025 Transition Project and our training session today. Why your service matters. How presidential appointees at all levels can impact policy.
Chat, the singularity is real.
I'm Executive Vice President at the Heritage Foundation, and I'm joined today by Roger Severino, Vice President for Domestic Policy.
Roger Severino. This looks like, and I think you should leave sketch. This just doesn't look real. I don't know, but everything about this is a little bit wrong. I don't know about this.
And Aaron Walsh, who's our senior fellow in international affairs at the Asian Studies Center. We're going to be talking today about why it's important to be aligned in an administration, why you should serve, and the impact that you can have. And so with that, I think we'll get started right away with introductions and where we served in administrations. All three of us served.
I think that guy's name is
Some of us
Gormless.
multiple presidents. We'll get to that. I served for 4 years for Vice President Dick Cheney as his staff secretary and special counsel. And
oh, brother. That's kind of interesting. Like, Trump bashes the Cheneys all the time.
Assistant to vice president. It was an excellent experience, and I'm sure we'll get into that.
Did he sign off on this
Roger,
guy?
why don't we start with you, and where did you serve?
I was in the Trump administration as director of the Office for Civil Rights at Health and Human Services, HHS. And before that, I was a trial attorney at the U.S. Department of Justice as a career. So I was able to see both sides, on the political and the career side.
Ugh.
Excellent.
Awful.
And Aaron, tell us, where did you serve?
Awful.
Well, I started at the age of 18, so I've served 4 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. When I was in college, I was at the Office of Correspondence, and then went on to political affairs, then went over to
Oh, so she's kind of like a born-in member of the cult.
the Office of Protocol, and served at Blair House, Department of Energy, and then in the Bush 41, I served up the U.S. mission to the UN for 5 years.
This is a
And
little
then in
iron
43,
sharpens
I came back
irony.
and was at the State Department and Near Eastern Affairs
Sharpens
Bureau.
irony.
And then during the Trump administration, I was at
Gorm
the White House.
is
And
arguably
then
a person of
over
color.
to as Assistant Secretary at Department of Commerce.
I mean, I
and then
don't
came
know
back
what
to the, White House
is going on
National
with
Security
Gorm.
Council.
That's fantastic. Well, we're going to be the beneficiaries.
This is so much like the Watchtower videos. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that story, sister.
Of all of our experiences here as we talk about it. I want to start with Roger.
No, I think Gorm might just be Italian. I don't know.
On motivation. What was it that encouraged you to make
You know
that
what? I'm
step
not
to
going to
kind of put your
speculate.
hat in the
That
ring to
seems
try to
like it's
serve the
not a
President
great
of the
path
United
to go
States?
down.
Well, the opportunity to impact policy at a wholesale level. When I was an attorney at DOJ, it was representing the United States, which is an amazing
You know, for
privilege,
fascists,
but for individual cases.
for a far-right
And I
Christian
moved from
nationalist project,
individual
this has
cases
leftist
to
audio.
large-scale national policy, and having that impact at such a broad scale, where you could see your ideas impact so many people for good, was an opportunity that just could not pass up. And it turned out to be more impactful even than I imagined. Because one of the things I realized is that it's so few people.
They've got the cult eyes. There's just no light in them. There's something not there that should be there.
In positions of authority that are making these important decisions. And I really wanted to be a part of that.
Fantastic. And Aaron, what is it that drew you? I'm
Fantastic.
sure part of it was President Ronald Reagan himself, who was such an influence on so many of us. So in addition to that, what made you think, well, I should go work for the president?
So
Another
I had an
president
opportunity,
with
to go and do that when
decaying
I was
mental
in
health
school.
in his second
And
administration.
then I'd heard the second inaugural address that the president did. I was just bundled up with a few friends, and we went down to the mall and stood there and listened to the speech, and it was so inspiring. And so I got involved, just volunteer work, and then got a real job in the Library and Research Center. And it just, being part of that administration was just incredible. And, you know, I mentioned to you earlier, just getting coffee or zero.
This is so much like the Inside Story, the little thing that JWs do. Let's do a side-by-side comparison. Chad, is this content? Don't answer that. All right, let's look at the Inside Story. Okay, this guy kind of even looks like, oh, if only there was a way to do picture-in-picture. But let me share a different screen to compare. Here's the Inside Story. Just imagine that this is Reagan. This is also the footage for That's Not What's Happening. Let's play That's Not What's Happening. I mean, if we can find it.
That is not what is happening. That is not what is happening.
Now that's just so that you know that's where that footage comes from. This is not actually an episode of That's Not What's Happening. But I always think this kind of sounds like that first level of Sonic Adventure.
We live in a world full of events that cause suffering to millions of people.
What a crazy thing to say. We live in a world full of events that cause suffering to millions of people. That sounds like it was written by AI. God, his face is worse. And I mean, it just in terms of the simulation, in terms of the uncanny valley effect of the robotics at work.
Welcome, Dieudonné and Elise. It's nice to spend some time with you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I understand that you were born and raised in Rwanda, and now you serve at the branch. Is that right? Tell us a little bit about your country.
Rwanda is called the land of 1,000 hills. Within one country.
Okay. Okay, pretend this is Gorm.
Beautiful experience they had when she came to Venezuela with other sisters. And so every time that we had a question about our theocratic history, she was there to answer
Theocratic history. I mean, this really could be.
Yeah, we really loved her
heritage.
Visits.
Oh my God, this could be the same video, basically.
Boxing or doing anything you need to do to be part of a team, because there's one leader, one principal, and that's the president of the United States.
Hey, thank you so much, Stroud, for
and
gifting
just to be
5
part of that
memberships.
administration and all the administration.
We're gonna have to upload some member shit to justify all
so
this
there's a mix of
memberness.
really a lot of admiration for the person who's running, and certainly support of their
okay. I think it's the quiz song. I think it's the song that plays during the quiz segments in that game.
Policy agenda that all kind of comes into to the motivation. And Roger, you mentioned impact, and I wanted to drill down just a little bit on that.
It's pretty uncanny.
What
This
kind of
is really
impact
similar.
Were you able to have, or should people expect to be able to have, maybe at multiple different levels?
In my particular role, I was a regulator and enforcer of our civil rights laws, conscience and religious freedom laws,
An
and
enforcer.
privacy laws as well. That is unique.
Gorm
Not
is an
everybody has that
enforcer.
role. However, most federal agencies do have a regulatory function. They issue regulations, and in many ways, unfortunately, that's how we are governed nowadays. Not so much through our laws, but through our regulations.
Unfortunately, we
Tremendous
regulate
power.
the
You work in a
government.
federal agency, and you work in a regulatory role. There are other folks who work in an enforcement role, enforcing the laws.
This guy is
and there's others who work in actual
gonna join the
distribution
abundance
of,
movement.
Federal benefits, or
Get
federal
rid of
programs
this.
or research.
Get rid of these
So there's all
bottlenecks
sorts
that are
of
preventing
places
us
for
from
people
doing
to
amazing
contribute.
things.
But I do think people should be quite aware of the impact of our regulations on daily life.
Yeah, that's so important. And,
So
Aaron,
so
you start
important.
off first.
Oh my God! I mean, that's Jehovah's Witnessy. The so important. I mean, I got
young.
chills.
And you were talking about being willing to help in any way that you can.
Enforcer.
How does your expectation of the impact
The
you're gonna be able to have, how
Gormforcer.
does that change with time and with experience?
Sure. So my last role was at the National Security
Sober
Council,
drinking
and,
game.
That's a very different role than obviously you start out with, and I came in and out of government.
Okay, you're
obviously.
totally right.
And I think the National
I
Security
definitely
Council is
have
very
been
much a
wanting
policy
to make
process.
one of
so
them.
it's different than being part of the.
The one from up top is pretty decent. Like the poop I made this morning for okay, terrible wording. The edit I made this morning that I played at the top of the stream. That's pretty good. If I could do some Project 2025 ones and make that'd be a good member video. You know? Encouraging. Yes. If somebody says encouraging, I have to refill my water glass.
Agencies, it's really more, if you didn't have a National Security Council running this type of process, so the policies are made, I mean, the president drives the policy, but there's a whole system and process that's in place in order to follow that. And I think that is something that level of discipline that people have to have is very important. And
The level of discipline to
because
follow
what is presented
orders.
by the National Security Council to the president is where he has his options and can make a decision. And,
Yeah, it's basically
so
just
that's
ceremonial. Like the government is just ceremonial. It's hard to say that, but there's a ceremony, and they endorse what the president says that he wants to do, and that's kind of it.
Job for Vice President Cheney that he actually did for President Ford. And I knew that within my scope of control was making sure that all the briefings that he got were completely factually correct and had all of the relevant information, perhaps multiple points of view fairly presented. And you had the satisfaction of knowing that you've given the principal the very best information.
Can I add two stories of impact?
The hand raising. The hand raising. I mean, what is this? This is like one of the vast apostate army guys must have worked in the Bethel video department, went MAGA, and now works for the Heritage Foundation or something, because it's the same guys making these
During
videos,
COVID,
giving these directions.
So much of the federal government was
I'm assuming the director is
almost
responsible
remote
for why they're talking like this.
And being there during that moment, those who kept going ahead.
Young ones.
There were a couple instances where civil rights laws were being threatened, particularly with the question of rationing of
It's
medical care.
true.
There was the idea that we're going to run out of
Hey,
ventilators.
thanks
What
for
are we
hanging
gonna
out,
do?
Simply Lore.
Who's going to be choose to live or to die? Those questions. And again, it was a very scary time in our history. Some
That's
states
true.
had triage policies that would put
Oh, is he talking about COVID?
people with disabilities, particularly Down syndrome, at the back of the line and make them flatly ineligible. And the civil rights office that I led at the time, became active on the issue, and through our enforcement powers, convinced states to drop those discriminatory policies. And so that had real world impact. At a very
I don't
scary
think that's
time.
going to hold up
And,
under
another
RFK.
example was same thing during COVID. After the lockdowns, people were not going back to hospitals. Beds were trying to be reserved for the most sick, and people were not receiving medical care. There was a question as to whether they could use their iPhones or use Skype, et cetera, to get telehealth, because those devices were not HIPAA compliant. My office was the HIPAA regulator. Well, we issued guidance saying that we would not be enforcing it in that manner, and I believe we actually saved lives and helped transform telemedicine, because so many thousands of
That's
people
actually like a
were talking to their
legitimate
doctors that they
accomplishment
otherwise were
if he
afraid
was
to go
involved with
to
that.
the medical centers and hospitals, and I'm sure we probably found
I don't even
people
think
who
that's a
were
bad
showing their
thing.
doctors with their iPhone, hey, what is this mole? And turns out it may have been cancer. It goes to show you'll never know where your public service may take you, but you could even have life-saving impact.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I was thinking about this in my own experience,
Fantastic.
which is, particularly as a more junior level person or when you start out, you have to do your work really excellently. And then before you know it, someone turns to you and asks for your opinion on something. And that's when you can have an impact.
No, what congregation does this guy go to? There's no way that he wasn't a witness. This is such a long conversation. What could they possibly have to talk about for this long?
Appointees. OMB and the White House Domestic Policy Council have an outsized role in coordinating and making sure the president's initiatives
The sound
are
mixing
passed
is so
and
bad.
the agencies implement, and there's a
The
feedback.
volume is all
Agencies
over
give
the
their ideas
place.
back to the Domestic Policy Council in my circumstance, and OMB. Once those ideas are fleshed out,
That is the kind of like awkward pause that is all over the JW videos that I stitched together for the silent super.
it's usually done through policy implementation with.
I'm really
either
enjoying
guidance
it. I'm having a great
or,
time.
more
I'm
importantly,
glad
regulations.
everyone else
And that
is
could
here,
be
but I'm
two-year
having
process.
a great time.
Drafting the regulations, getting the public comments in, responding to the public comments, making sure they're legally sufficient and adequate, and then you litigate them. Because if it's anything of real impact, there's going to be some divisions, and
This also
for a very
feels
litigious society, it's
like
gonna be lawsuits.
JW stuff in terms of it's not really saying anything at all. It's just like it's so wonderful to be a part of the government. It feels so meaningful and it's so great. And if you just follow the direction and make sure that you do put the president's agenda first, it's really fulfilling and it's really wonderful, and you really make
And
a
that's one of the biggest
difference.
lessons of how important you have to plan it all out from the beginning.
Yeah, Roger, that's so well said, and that's so why we're so excited about Project 2025.
It's a
Try to
show
do
about
as much
nothing.
of that
How
thinking
do we
in
know when it's
advance
over?
So you can hit the ground running. I wanted to talk a little
It's
bit
a
about
Fairly Odd
timing
Parents
issues, because
reference.
you just mentioned that it can take a really long time to get all the way through that Python of policy process. Can you
Python
talk about the importance
policy.
of hitting the ground running a little bit, both the White House and also in agencies? That you hear a lot about the
This
first
could
100
be
days or so.
vodka,
How would you
these two little
categorize that
things here.
timing?
It's key. Every president has a
Oh, it's key.
honeymoon period right after the inauguration.
That Trump did. I would say he did not get a honeymoon period. He really didn't. They came in swinging, and I don't know. I guess I haven't really been paying attention to like his approval numbers. I know they're quite bad right now, but I think as soon as the airplanes started falling out of the sky, that his approval never quite recovered
It's
after
excited.
that.
It's either a new person or it's a re-election, but we just got to an
It's
election.
giving best
already
life
tough.
ever.
The president has so much running room in those first 100 days. You have to have an administration that knows exactly how to take the reins of power.
Take the reins of power. Whoa. You have to have an administration that knows exactly how to take the reins of power.
It's already tough. The president has so much running room in those first 100 days. You have to have an administration that knows exactly how to take the reins of power, if they're changing parties in particular, and implementing right off the bat. You don't have that honeymoon period for very long. Maybe 100 days.
I guess
the American people need a
it's
chance
not
to
like
perform,
controversial
and
what
you
he's
have to
saying.
execute and prove that you deserve to win that election.
It stood out to
by
me
fulfilling the promises
because
of
of
the
what
American
they're
people.
doing now.
So,
but
that's the most.
if like a liberal politician said that, and that was in their training videos, I'd be like, well, I mean, I guess that's true. You have to, know how to get on the horse and take the reins.
learn on
It's
these
not
training
creepy what
videos
he's saying.
will really equip you, whatever agency you're going into, or
Ooh.
White House office.
No, this sounds JWE.
More prepared, and I'm excited to see what's in store.
And Aaron, I want to hear from you in a minute, but I would just say to continue to watch and learn on these training videos. It'll really equip you, whatever agency you're going into, or White House office, to know what to expect that first day. And knowing what to expect is really half the battle, or more than half the battle. And then doing that thinking in advance.
Knowing is half
which
the battle.
policy
We know
proposals
that.
in Project 2025 will do. So I think we get the recipe right. Now we just have to execute on the cooking. But
What? He said the recipe. He did my mother's sweet potato pie. Oh my God. The Bible is like a cookbook full of recipes that work.
When I was young, one of my favorite desserts was my mother's sweet potato pie. It always tasted the same. To me, it was perfect every time. I'd often ask her, Ma, what do you put in here to make it taste so good? She'd always respond, I just use the same stuff every time.
I just love this story. I love this story. It's a great story. Okay, so maybe I can close out this stream with a video that will get a copyright strike because that's why it wasn't the end of the spiritual recipe video in the first place. But it's so good. It's a member. I think I uploaded it to Patreon a long time ago because that's like a years old video. But let's see. How can I even find that? But I did this like remix of that video of him talking about sweet potato pie. And I did it to a song, and the song got a copyright strike. Shit. If I could find it, it would be wonderful. But I don't know if I can. Oh. I think it might be in my YouTube. But let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear him talk about a recipe real quick, just to close that loop.
In advance, which the policy proposals in Project 2025 will do. So I think we get the recipe right. Now we just have to execute on the cooking. But Aaron, what would you say about timing considerations and how important is it to get that running start for folks that are going to be going right into an agency?
Totally absurd. Okay, let me see if I can find this spiritual gem. I gotta go to my YouTube studio. That last video I made did a lot better than I would have thought. I thought that was going to be a dud. I'll just be honest with you. I mean, in terms of viewers, I thought it was a good video. So thanks to everyone who watched it. All right, where's that wonderful rap video that I made? It's not me rapping, don't worry. God damn it. It just doesn't exist, folks. It just doesn't exist. If I find it, I'll upload it as a Patreon exclusive. You know, I think I made an edit. Did I not make an edit of some kind and upload it to TikTok or something? Or like a YouTube short? I have a vague memory of uploading a YouTube short recently. What was that? Because we'll watch that, and then we'll watch the edit from earlier. Finals. Oh, it was the Quite Frankly supercut. Well, yes, obviously, let's watch some,
quite frankly.
Okay.
And quite frankly, the fact is, I think that quite frankly, I think we would deport people.
I don't think you're in a position to ask anyone any questions.
I quite frankly,
I would say quite frankly, honestly, quite frankly, anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
Because quite frankly, I think quite frankly that if we are able to enact local leaders.
Who is the we, by the way?
I think quite frankly, these far-right conservatives sitting right around
White people?
Yeah.
No, but who picks the autocrat?
Frankly, the people.
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi.
Are you in favor of killing people who aren't like you?
Quite frankly, I'm not in.
You just seem offended, to be quite frankly. It was so super cool, quite frankly. Because the whole
And you don't believe in democracy?
I don't believe in democracy. I'm going to get in power, and I'm going to frankly punish you when you try to leverage power against me. I wouldn't want to hurt you or
I'll be the
anything
first
like that, but
to
quite
say
frankly,
I don't debate.
did a good job.
Okay. Okay.
This is Angelo Badalamenti.
So do
ambient
you
noise
concede
from
then? I
Twin
mean,
Peaks
why?
13.
Do I concede you're a fascist who won't condemn the Nazis?
Yeah.
Yes, I concede that.
Okay, great. To be quite frankly.
Good. Okay. Now, I also finally isolated the Myth Vision edit I did, and then I'll be honest, I didn't upload it because it's so mean-spirited that I don't know. I don't know. I need some feedback.
I'm extreme. I like.
Hang on. We'll try that again. And I'll go off screen because I don't want to influence you one way or the other. Because I'll obviously laugh at my own thing, to be quite frankly. So I don't want to judge you. Is this too mean-spirited to upload as a short?
I'm extreme. I like the radical views. I come from a world where men poo-poo and women and boys have vaginas and blacks can get the fuck off my train tracks. I don't need you around. Why aren't women and blacks white guys? I'm annoyed by this. And I can promise you, I'm literally a Green Beret in my mind. So I put my penis in the whole, I cannot remember if it was a she, he, or they. Vaginas, ass, you name it. Myth Vision's all about that. Fuck my guts publicly today.
I don't know about that one, guys. I don't know. I might just save that. That might just have to be an Easter egg at the end of that video. And now this stream, I guess. That's a really stupid one. I had... let's see. I don't think I've okay, I know what I'll do. If you want an exclusive 100 out of 10 it's the sentence mixing is good, but I just think I don't know. If you don't know the context of what you're watching, it could appeal to the wrong crowd. Okay, so I have had this. The Elon series started as me making an edit, and then I just started to kind of react to them because I just got obsessed with them and watched them over and over. But then I never released the edit because originally I was going to do all three Frost Nixonian Elon Musk interviews in one video because I just thought it would be like one 90-minute video. And then it turned into this thing where probably the next one, like the first one's a little over an hour and this one's going to be 90 minutes for sure. And then the third one, I don't know what shape that's going to be like, but the reason why there's all of these, a lot of like YouTube poops in those videos or that style of editing is because I had already done this thing and I don't know how to end it is the thing. And so if you don't care about knowing who the next two main interviewers are, I mean, you've seen a lot of the shorter ones like the Barbara Walters interview and whatever that MSNBC guy is who also interviewed him again recently. You will also see Andrew Ross Sorkin and the BBC guy whose name I continually forget, and I have to write it down, and also Dong Lemon. So let me play, I think it's called Foreshadowing, Elon Foreshadowing. Is that the only one, though?
Had any of your tweets censored since the settlement?
No.
None. Does someone have to read them before they go out?
No.
So your tweets are not supervised?
The only tweets that would have to be, say, reviewed would be if a tweet had a probability of causing a movement in the stock.
And that's it?
Yeah, I mean, otherwise it's, hello, First Amendment. It's like, freedom of speech is fundamental.
But how do they know if it's going to move the market if they're not reading all of them before you send them?
Well, I guess we might make some mistakes. Who knows?
Are you serious?
Nobody's perfect.
I'll let this play out before I...
Look at you.
No, I want to be clear. I do not respect the SEC. I do not respect them.
But you're abiding by the settlement, aren't you?
Because I respect the justice system.
I like that little shuffle he does. So, I mean, my goal is to kind of tell a story throughout the arc of the edit, but I guess the problem is I never know quite where to end it because his saga is like ongoing. Like his downfall kind of continues to happen, but I guess I wanted it to be called foreshadowing. So if you haven't picked up on it, a lot of the music is Wario music because Wario plays an important part in this edit, of course, and some of it is this channel I found. He had done a lot of classical music in the Super Mario 64 sound font. Some of it is that Angelo Badalamenti Black Lodge Rumble is what it's called. If you've ever watched Twin Peaks, a lot of times there's just this like dark, ambient, angry noise, and that's what that is. And then but then there's some music that I did. I played on my keyboard, like some synth music. I was having fun doing that, so I would kind of want to try and do that some more in future videos. But yeah, I mean that's a pretty solid little edit right there.
You know, you do some tweets that seem to be, or at least give support to some who would call others conspiracy.
Totally valid. This is pure vanity. What's happening right now?
Yes, but I mean, honestly, you know, some of these conspiracy theories have turned out to be true.
Which ones?
Well, like the Hunter Biden laptop.
That's true.
Yeah.
He really looks far gone in this. Like,
you know,
he looks
but
like
how
a
do you
pedomaniac.
make a choice? You don't see, I mean, in terms of when you're going to engage. I mean, for example, even today, Elon, you tweeted this thing about George Soros. You said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like, when you do something like that,
this is an early.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, look, we don't want to make this a George Soros interview.
I mean, when you link to somebody who's talking about the guy who killed children in a mall in Allen, Texas, and you say something like it might be a bad psyop. I'm not quite sure what you meant, but
yeah, like his eye, he's got the cult eyes.
In that particular case, there was.
I mean, this is a real Nazi.
Somehow,
he's also just
not that obviously people were killed, but it was
obviously people were killed.
Incorrectly described to be a white supremacist action, and the evidence for that was some obscure Russian website that no one's ever heard of that had no followers.
Yeah, this guy from CSNBC is actually really good. Like, he's the one who got that quote from Elon from earlier this year after he was kind of ousted from the administration or his tenure at Doge publicly ended or whatever. He gave an interview with the same guy, and Elon's like, what I learned is that, you know, the mainstream media will spread lies about you, and the guy's like what? And Elon's like, that I'm a Nazi, for example.
The company that found this is Bellingcat. Right. And do you know what Bellingcat does? Psyops.
Right.
I like the way the
I
eye
couldn't really
lines
even
up
follow
for a
exactly
second.
what it was you were trying to express there, so that's in part why I was curious.
I know,
But
it's demented.
The ascribing it to white supremacy was bullshit.
Okay.
And that the information.
Oh yeah, no, this is my synth music.
That came from an obscure Russian website and was somehow magically found by Bellingcat, which is a company that does psyops. Does psyops.
And there's no proof, by the way, that he was not.
there's no. I would say that there's no proof that he is.
And that's a debate you want to get into on Twitter?
I was happy with this little bit of synth music because it really sounds like the
white supremacy
stuff.
if it's false.
I was happy I was able to rip that off.
You talk about your ketamine use and depression.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Don Lemon's #1.
Have you also have said, and
The reason I should say, the reason I mentioned the ketamine prescription on the X platform was because I thought maybe this is something that could help other people.
Yeah, I think the Elon video is going to be next.
Can we talk about the great replacement theory now? Some of the things that you post, the great replacement theory, you claim that Democrats, President Biden's immigration plan to open up the border, you said that the president is getting, and Democrats are doing it to get more votes. But undocumented immigrants cannot vote in federal elections, so how is that possible?
Right. Well, you're conflating two things. One is great replacement theory.
The thing with
the
this
other
is like
immigrants, which I think have a
I
very strong bias too.
I genuinely think that the interviews are amazing, and so I don't I don't do any sentence making. I just was trying to kind of string them together like those Vic Berger edits he does sometimes.
It's very strong bias to vote Democrat. The more that kind of country, the more they're likely to vote in that direction. It is my and yeah, so the question is like how.
This
so
is also me on
There's
synths.
a few ways that this works.
The problem with this, I lost the original project file, so I would have to redo it basically, like from scratch, because it wouldn't be that much of a problem. But I can't just like quickly re-upload it with the
electoral college is in place is to balance that, so that doesn't happen. So what you're saying about it is
I like the nice music coming in when Don Lemon's trying to talk.
The electoral college is there.
Senses.
The electoral college at this point, in our history, gives people who are in smaller states and red states much more of an influence over our elections than people who are in blue states. And the majority of the people in this country. That's what the electoral college does. It actually does the exact opposite of what you're saying. It protects people who are in smaller states and protects people who are in red states.
Well, glitch, buffering. People are so mean online.
It's like I don't know why I find that funny. It's so stupid. It's so childish. This is for more you'll in for.
Yeah, just one of that note.
Yes.
I used that in the Sopranos video. It really started with the Sopranos video, actually.
People are so
His
mean
stupid face. That weird, like, buzzing sound effect is actually from the sketch. It's really weird.
If you have any regrets.
This is the next
I think
interviewer
you
in the
booed at
Frost
Dave
Nation
Chappelle
series.
concert. I think your own lawyer
A little.
said a little. Well, some say a little, some say a bit more.
Yeah, okay. So if it wasn't clear what he said, because it wasn't, because the music's way too loud, which is my fault, the guy brings up that he, at the time of this interview, had recently been booed at a Frost Nixon concert. No, at a Dave Chappelle concert. And I genuinely think that this moment is, like, devastating to Elon Musk's psyche.
Make some noise for the richest man in the world.
And for all my issues with Dave Chappelle, he does get him kind of good here. He says something like, "Oh, I think it must be all those people you fired." Because I have a feeling that he was not invited onto this stage necessarily. Like, obviously, but he was to some degree, but I get the sense that Elon Musk is the kind of person who relentlessly wears people down, and he's the richest man in the world, and he's high on ketamine. Probably found himself at a Dave Chappelle concert, didn't quite know what was happening.
Elon. Hey, Dave.
Weren't expecting this, were you? Weren't expecting that.
I forgot about that. He like unironically at one point in that interview was like, you weren't expecting that. It's a really crazy one. Next for us next time. I had Elon Musk apologists saying like that's not him on ketamine.
So,
he's just stimming.
like I mean, the sort of the left wanted to make comedy illegal. You know, like you can't make fun of anything. So then it's like comedy sucks. It's like nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like legalize comedy. Yeah. So.
The red states because it tends to be smaller and less populous.
I think that's a.
I forgot that we tie it all back to Don Lemon. Yeah, no, I think that Dave Chappelle moment and the SNL thing really haunt Elon because him putting on this bizarre costume, I don't know exactly what he was trying to dress up as, like a Hot Topic goth band lumberjack or something, with his chainsaw, and he says comedy's legal again. It's almost like finally all those woke people who didn't laugh at me, like I won, so now I am funny, you see? And I don't know, it really seems to haunt him.
What you said is
Is
true,
that
but what I
true?
said is also
That's
true.
insane.
I mean, look, I'm sorry for that tweet or post. It was foolish of me. Of the 30,000.
There's so many clips from this that I didn't get to use in the final video because a lot of it was just me making. I mean, I had a lot more just pithy comments, some of which I meant to include and just forgot to drag them to the timeline. But I mean, every minute of this Andrew Ross Sorkin interview is crazy. And yeah, he just says like tweet or post. He has the whistle tooth that we talked about earlier.
It might be literally the worst and dumbest post that I've ever done.
Another thing that was kind of lost in the final edit was it's funny. I maybe I'll talk about it in one of the future videos, but he really insists that like you don't call it Twitter, you call it X on the X platform and so forth. And yet throughout this, he keeps on accidentally calling it a tweet, and he has to correct himself to post. So like for right there, he went like to post. So I was going to do a thing where I do like, you know, the sports replay on him almost saying Twitter, but saying post. And it kind of didn't feel worth it in the end.
My best to clarify it.
But now that I'm saying it, it kind of sounds like I should have done it.
But, you know, at least I think over time it will be obvious that, in fact, far from being anti-Semitic, I'm in fact philo-Semitic. And
in fact, that's a fact, by the way, that he's philo-Semitic.
In my track record would support that.
Let me ask you this, though. There are people who say crazy things on X, as you know. Maybe you think they're crazy, maybe they're not.
So mean online.
The aspiration for X is to be the global town square. Now, if you were to walk down to, let's say, Times Square,
right?
Do you occasionally hear people saying crazy things?
Yes, but they're not. But they don't have the megaphone, right? And that's the conundrum.
No,
right? They can only say it to the 50 or 100 people that are standing there in Times Square.
They don't have a mega. I mean, look.
I must confess to some delight in removing the verified badge from the New York Times.
Yeah, I must confess in removing the verified badge. So the next one, I'm going to talk more about how he actually, you know, started suppressing free speech and stuff on X. So I am going to go back to some of the Andrew Ross Sorkin stuff that I didn't use the first time. But this guy really gets into it. And this interviewer is really interesting because he kind of is making a point, at least the way I'm reading into it, that Elon Musk really is almost creating a ministry of truth in some ways, where like in his Twitter headquarters was becoming this almost like cult compound. Like Elon was sleeping there for a while. It was really getting kind of crazy for a little bit, but all of these stories get lost in the shuffle. Anyway.
That was great.
But yeah, he was starting to like delist people, like actual journalism outlets.
Do you ever go?
Yeah, I said I literally.
Yeah. Is there any part of you though that just says, you know what? I just shouldn't have done this, or maybe I should sell it, or give it away, or do something else with the X piece of it.
Yeah.
Given the propensity for some of the things that you do and say on that platform to create these issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually it's pretty rare for something, frankly, that is hateful to be promoted. It's not that it never happens.
Pretty rare.
But it's fairly rare.
But these are just a handful of extremely. You look at those anti-Semitic and racist tropes and tweets.
It's crazy.
And as of this morning, they're still on X. And from your own content policy, these posts should have been deleted. So why haven't they been deleted? Why are they still there? Did you?
Yeah, like, you know, X is insane. It is like just a Nazi platform now, the kind of stuff that's on there. And this was before Trump won, by the way. This was just during the campaign that this interview happened. So, no, this was even before that. This was before he had endorsed anybody in particular. Pretty crazy. So anyway, that's a little bit of that edit. Thanks for sticking around, guys. I was having fun streaming. I didn't get to stream last week, I think, so I wanted to. And, to leave, I'm just going to end it because we just already watched